Chapter 175. Lord Spirit Flame, are you all right? Venerable Fire Spirit asked anxiously when he realized that the Fire Heart Spirit Flame's spirit flame body had been pierced through by the primal chaos energy and was unable to reform. I'm fine. We can't let him escape. Thinking back to how terrifying the primal chaos energy was, the Fire Heart Spirit Flame felt a lingering fear. However, it knew that this was their only chance to kill Yi Chunfeng. If they couldn't kill him, then only death awaited them. Okay. Venerable Fire Spirit Flame allowed the Fire Heart Spirit Flame to live in his body as he urged the Firewing Windbirds to chase after Yi Chunfeng at an extremely fast speed. Although the Golden Rock Wings were much faster than the Firewing Windbirds, Yi Chunfeng's injuries were too severe. In addition, he was carrying Yu Nikhang, which greatly reduced his flying speed. Slowly, the four Firewing Windbirds closed the distance between them. Yi Chunfeng, are you all right? Yu Nikhang asked anxiously when she discovered that Yi Chunfeng's body was beginning to bleed as he rapidly flew. His face was so pale that it was devoid of color. Don't worry, I'm fine. Yi Chunfeng relied on his superhuman willpower to endure the intense pain in his body and rapidly flapped his golden rock wings. This direction you're thinking of, going to the North Sea. Only by escaping there can we truly escape their pursuit. When he discovered that Yu Nikhang had a soul imprint on her body, Yi Chunfeng had already thought of a path of retreat. But, in your current condition, can you endure flying to the North Sea? Yu Nikhang asked worriedly. I should be able to. Yi Chunfeng clenched his teeth and said. He had prepared a small bottle of heavenly fate water in case he needed it. Fire Spirit, use a secret art to stimulate the Firewing Windbird's potential and increase their flying speed. We must catch up to them. After several hours of recovery, the Fire Heart Spirit Flame had finally reformed his spirit flame body. Looking at the rapidly flying Yi Chunfeng duo, he sternly ordered. All right. Although Adept Fire Spirit knew that once the potential of the flame-winged wind bird was stimulated, it was equivalent to overdrawing its life. In the future, the flame-winged wind bird would be wasted. However, there was no time for him to hesitate. He quickly took out several silver needles and inserted them into the acupuncture points on the flame-winged wind bird's body. Screech! Being stimulated by the silver needles, the flame-winged wind bird Yang Tian let out a long cry of pain. A large amount of blood appeared on its wings. In Yu Tian Valley, Jian Yuan and the others saw that esteemed fire spirit had forcefully stimulated the potential of the flame-winged wind bird. They all used the same method to stimulate the flame-winged wind bird's acupuncture points to increase its flying speed. Soon, the flame-winged wind bird flew faster and faster, once again closing the distance between them and Yi Chunfeng. Yu Nikhang could already vaguely see the ferocious faces of Master Fire Spirit and the others. They seemed to have overdrawn the firebird's life in exchange for speed amplitude. Yu Nikhang said with an ugly expression. With their current physical condition, if they were caught by the people from the Heavenly Fire Sect, they would be doomed. Vitality Ignition. Seeing that Master Fire Spirit and the others were within his attack range, Yi Chunfeng gritted his teeth and burned his vitality at all costs. The terrifying vitality was like a smoke signal that shot into the sky. After burning his vitality, Yi Chunfeng's injuries were forcefully suppressed. His flying speed also increased, gradually increasing the distance between them and the four flame-winged windbird. Continue to stimulate the potential of the flame-winged windbird, we must not let them escape. Fire Spirit Flame saw Yi Chunfeng increase his flying speed again, and ordered in a low voice. All right, but if we continue to stimulate the flame-winged windbird, I'm afraid it will reach its limit. Master Fire Spirit held a silver needle and pierced it into the acupuncture point at the heart of the flame-winged windbird. Screech! When the acupuncture point was pierced by the needle, the pain caused the flame-winged windbird's feathers to stand up straight. It let out a cry of despair and pain from its sharp beak. With the potential of the flame-winged windbird being stimulated, Yi Chunfeng burned his vitality at all costs to increase his flying speed. He did not give the flame-winged windbird a chance to close the distance. About 5 hours later, the man and the 4 beasts traversed an extremely vast area and slowly approached the northernmost North Sea of the North Snow County. Not good, the 2 of them are trying to escape to the North Sea. Sensing the rapid drop in temperature and the appearance of a boundless sea in the distance, Master Fire Spirit and the others had a drastic change in expression. If Yi Chunfeng escaped into the North Sea, it would be extremely difficult for them to capture Yi Chunfeng. Continue to stimulate the potential of the flame-winged windbird, Fire Spirit Flame ordered in a somewhat deranged manner. But, no buts. You need to know the consequences of letting him escape. Fire Spirit Flame interrupted Master Fire Spirit and said in a low voice, "All right." Master Fire Spirit nodded and took out 6 thin silver needles from his cosmic bag. He stabbed them into the 6 main acupuncture points on the flame-winged windbird's body. Pring pring pring, with the sound of 6 blood explosions, the flame-winged windbird under Master Fire Spirit was enveloped by a thick blood light. In extreme pain, the flame-winged windbird's life force rapidly drained away and flew faster and faster. Finally, it closed the distance between it and Yi Chunfeng. And at this moment, Yi Chunfeng and Fire Spirit Flame had already reached the sky above the North Sea. Yi Chunfeng, you won't be able to escape. Just accept your fate obediently. The venerable Fire Spirit, whose expression was so gloomy that it looked like water was about to drip from his body, said with a murderous intent. Fire Spirit Flame compressed his body to the limit, ready to deliver a fatal blow at any moment. "Humph, kill me!" Yi Chunfeng snorted and said, "Just you wait. The next time I come back, it will be the day your heavenly fire sect is annihilated." Yi Chunfeng, you are courting death. The current Yi Chunfeng was already a threat to the heavenly fire sect. If he was given a certain amount of time to grow, Master Fire Spirit had no doubt that the heavenly fire sect would prostrate at his feet the next time he returned. "Yu Nikhang, can you still attack?" Yi Chunfeng transmitted his voice to Yu Nikhang as the flame-winged windbird's life force rapidly drained away. "Yes," Yu Nikhang said through gritted teeth. "All right, when the time comes, you and I will attack together. It's a final gamble." Yi Chunfeng took a deep breath and said. About an hour later, the flame-winged windbird that Master Fire Spirit was riding let out a final cry. Its rapidly flying body doubled in speed and instantly closed the distance between it and Yi Chunfeng. "Go to hell." The instant the flame-winged windbird's body exploded, Fireheart Spirit Flame seized this final opportunity. Its entire body turned into a red beam of light, and at a speed faster than the speed of light, it launched a fatal attack at Yi Chunfeng and Yu Nikhang. "Let's attack." Fireheart Spirit Flame rapidly attacked. Yi Chunfeng roared and attacked at the same time with Yu Nikhang. 7 Swords of Judgment, Extreme Frost. A terrifying blood dragon appeared on Yi Chunfeng's body. A perfect sword aura gushed out and evolved into the power of the Great Tao. When the power of the Great Tao transformed into endless cold power, Yi Chunfeng wielded the titanic fault heavenly sword and forcefully slashed out an extreme frost sword beam. It tore through the void and attacked Fireheart Spirit Flame together with Yu Nichang's Aqua Moon Everlasting Sword. Boom! The 3 terrifying forces collided and detonated a destructive force. The terrifying explosive force stirred up the turbulent North Sea. Large waves soared into the sky, and an endless sea rain fell from the sky. Chapter 176. Sea breeze, beach, isolated island, reefs in the vast North Sea. This isolated island was like a grain of sand in the vast ocean. However, there were 2 people lying on the shore of this isolated island. They were covered in blood and soaked in seawater. No one knew how long they had been unconscious. These 2 people were Yi Chunfeng and Yu Nikhang, who were severely injured after taking the fatal blow from the Flaming Heart's spiritual flame. After using his strongest soul skill to knock away Huoyu Hao's spirit blaze, Yi Chunfeng used the water of heavenly fate to recover and once again overdraft his body. He flew for half a day with the moon raiment on his back, before finally falling unconscious on this small island due to his heavy injuries and lack of stamina. After some time, Yi Chunfeng woke up. He supported his weak body and dragged Yu Nikhang, who was soaked in seawater, to the beach. After that, he lay beside Yu Nikhang and looked at the blue sky. He didn't even want to move a finger. Yi Chunfeng had been overdrawing his body while he was being chased by the Flaming Heart's spiritual flame. He had damaged his skills and worsened his injuries. Even a man made of steel couldn't take it. Yi Chunfeng was able to persevere because of his extraordinary willpower and physical strength. More importantly, it was because of the water of heavenly fate. All my passageways are broken. My organs are severely damaged. More than 30 bones are broken. Yi Chunfeng silently circulated his soul-devouring art. When he checked his body, he realized that his injuries were more serious than before. He could only unleash 1% of his strength. I don't know how long it will take to heal my injuries. Yi Chunfeng shook his head and sighed. Just as Yi Chunfeng consumed several spirit tier soul pills to heal his injuries, Yu Nikhang woke up under the scorching sun. Where are we? Yu Nikhang asked weakly as she listened to the sound of waves and looked at the vast ocean and the white beach. On a small island in the North Sea. Yi Chunfeng asked calmly, "How are your injuries now?" "My internal condition is very bad. My internal organs and heart meridians are severely damaged. I don't know if there is any possibility of recovery in the future." Yu Nichang's body wasn't as abnormal as Yi Chunfeng's. When she sensed her body's condition, her expression became somewhat gloomy as she spoke in a low voice. Yi Chunfeng gave Yu Nikhang several spirit-level soul dawn and continued to use the soul-devouring art to heal himself. "Don't worry, we will all recover. This is for you. Let's heal ourselves first and then think of a way to leave this place." About a day later, Yi Chunfeng's injuries had improved, but he was still far from fully recovered. Feeling hungry, Yi Chunfeng jumped into the rippling waves of the sea and caught a few lively fish to roast and eat. Time passed day after day. Yi Chunfeng and Yu Nikhang spent their days either eating or healing themselves. However, their relationship was getting closer and closer. "Yi Chunfeng, what kind of opportunity did you obtain in the icy spirit peak?" After becoming familiar with each other, Yi Chunfeng and Yu Nikhang chatted while eating the delicious roasted fish. "I subdued the profound frost spirit water in the icy spirit peak." Yi Chunfeng didn't hide anything. Moreover, he knew that Yu Nikhang should have guessed what kind of opportunity it was. "You are really an animal. You can even subdue spirit water." Although Yu Nikhang was very strong, she knew that if she encountered a spirit fire or spirit water that was born between heaven and earth, it would be impossible for her to subdue it. "By the way, who was that peerless king who scared me away?" Yu Nikhang slowly chewed the fish and continued to ask. "She was a very beautiful woman. However, I don't know her true identity." Yi Chunfeng said. "Beautiful woman? More beautiful than me?" Yu Nikhang gently brushed her long black hair and asked in a charming manner. "More beautiful than you." The corners of Yi Chunfeng's mouth slightly curled up as he said half-jokingly. "Really? Why do I feel that you are lying?" Yu Nikhang pretended to be angry and said, "Well, let's get back to the topic. Do you want to completely recover from your injuries? And improve your strength?" Yi Chunfeng looked at Yu Nichang's charming face and thought that she had been seriously injured because of him. Therefore, he pondered for a while and asked, "What? Do you have a way?" Yu Nikhang raised her eyebrows and asked doubtfully. However, when she thought of Yi Chunfeng's endless trump cards and methods, her beautiful eyes revealed a trace of expectation. "Yes. However, you must first swear to the heavenly Tao that you will not reveal the secret technique that I am going to teach you to a second person." Yi Chunfeng nodded and said cautiously, "Secret technique. Okay, I swear. Yu Nikhang knew the value of the secret technique. Her charming eyes revealed rays of light as she looked at Yi Qinfeng's serious face. She nodded and swore to the heavenly Tao in front of everyone. Sit properly and concentrate. I am going to teach you the body tempering secret technique now. Seeing Yu Nikhang swear in front of everyone, Yi Qinfeng no longer hesitated and taught the first 4 layers of the 6 meridian divine shield to her. As long as Yu Nikhang cultivated according to the first 4 layers of the 6 meridian divine shield, not only would her injuries be healed, but her body would also undergo a qualitative change. She would even have a chance to break through the heavenly beast immortal realm and reach the Xian beast grandmaster realm. What a mysterious body tempering secret technique! Yu Nikhang was overjoyed when she remembered the first 4 layers of the 6 meridian divine shield. She did not expect the secret technique that Yi Qinfeng taught her to be so mysterious. At this moment, she was completely confident that she could heal her injuries. Dear brother Qinfeng, does this 6 meridian divine shield really only have the first 4 layers of the 6 meridian divine shield? Feeling that the 6 meridian divine shield that Yi Qinfeng taught her was not complete, Yu Nichang's beautiful eyes rolled slightly. She took the initiative to get close to him and asked, "No, this 6 meridian divine shield has a total of 6 layers. I did not teach you the last 2 layers," Yi Qinfeng said without hiding anything. "Brother Qinfeng, if you are willing to teach me all the 6 meridian divine shield cultivation methods, I am willing to agree to any of your requests." Although Yu Nikhang hated Yi Qinfeng's honesty, her face revealed a seductive expression. She looked straight at him and said, "Any request." Feeling the fragrance from Yu Nichang's mouth and the intoxicating charm on her body, Yi Qinfeng had a strange feeling in his heart. He had to admit that Yu Nikhang did have a bewitching charm. However, when he caught a hint of craftiness in Yu Nichang's eyes, the raging flame in his heart was immediately extinguished. He responded indifferently, "I am going to heal my injuries. If you want to continue to show off, please do so." After saying that, Yi Qinfeng ignored Yu Nichang's fiery gaze and slowly closed his eyes. He got rid of all distracting thoughts and slowly operated the soul-devouring art to heal his injuries. "Yi Qinfeng, just you wait. I will definitely make you kneel before me." Chapter 177. Time flew by and a month passed in the blink of an eye. After a month of recuperation, Yi Qinfeng's broken bones and shattered meridians had basically healed. However, because he had overdrawn his body's potential, his body had suffered severe injuries and he could only unleash 1/10 of his peak strength. As for Yu Nikhang, under Yi Qinfeng's guidance, she had cultivated to the first layer of the 6 meridians divine aura realm with the help of several spirit-level dawn. Her physical strength had increased by 500 kilograms and her injuries had greatly improved. After experiencing the strength of the 6 meridians divine aura realm, Yu Nikhang was filled with desire for the remaining 2 chant. However, no matter how she tempted Yi Qinfeng remained indifferent. This made her gnash her teeth in hatred, but there was nothing she could do. The North Sea was vast and boundless, and the number of monsters in the sea was innumerable. Yi Qinfeng and Yu Nichang's injuries had not healed, and they did not dare to leave blindly. They could only endure the loneliness and recuperate on the isolated island while waiting for an opportunity. However, due to the lack of spiritual herbs, their recovery speed was extremely slow. Yu Nikhang did not have any spiritual herbs to temper her body, causing her to be lacking in qi and blood. Thus, she was unable to reach the realm of great success in the flesh refinement realm. "There's a ship coming." Suddenly, one day, Yi Qinfeng, who was absorbing the essence of the seawater on a reef by the shore to heal his injuries, sensed a powerful force moving in the distance. He immediately opened his eyes and cried out in surprise, "A ship!" Hearing Yi Qinfeng's exclamation, Yu Nikhang, who had buried her body in the sand and cultivated the 6 meridians divine aura realm, rose from the ground. Through the direction Yi Qinfeng had pointed, she saw a blurry black dot rapidly approaching. It really is a ship. Hang had long wanted to leave this isolated island. Seeing that a ship had finally arrived after nearly 2 months of waiting, she was extremely excited. Yi Chunfeng, let's just fly over. Hang suggested loudly, afraid that the ship would leave. Let's wait for a moment. Our injuries have not healed, so flying over without permission might be dangerous. Let's think of a way to attract their attention and see if we have a chance to board the ship. If it doesn't work, we'll fly over. Yi Chunfeng and Hang had yet to recover from their injuries and could only use about 20% of their strength. The energy contained in the sword puppet was also almost depleted. As a precaution, Yi Chunfeng did not summon the golden rock wings and directly flew over. Instead, he released a powerful sound wave and shouted loudly. The terrifying sound waves swept out like a tsunami, causing a large number of ripples to appear on the surface of the ocean. As if hearing Yi Chunfeng's call, the ship in the distance slightly changed its course and slowly sailed towards the island they were on. What a huge ship! Yi Chunfeng looked at the speedily approaching ship that was riding the wind and breaking the waves. He discovered that this ship was dozens of meters tall and more than 100 meters long. Its pitch-black hull was made of special materials and was impregnable. On both sides of the ship, there were 16 crystal cannons as thick as water bucket. If Yi Chunfeng had just blindly flown over, he might have been attacked by these crystal cannons. Ancient ink. Yi Chunfeng looked at the 100-meter-tall huge flagpole with a flag engraved with ink characters hanging on it. He guessed that this ship should belong to a big family outside the North Sea. Who are you two? Why are you here? When this huge ship approached the island, 3 men and 2 women appeared on the huge deck. Among them, a tall and sturdy middle-aged man with muscular arms and dark skin looked down at them condescendingly and questioned them loudly. However, when he saw Hang, who was wearing a fiery red dress and whose every frown and every smile was mesmerizing, his eyes revealed a look of amazement and his gaze became hot. My wife and I are from the North Snow County. We wanted to travel to the continent outside the North Sea together. Who would have thought that we would encounter a tornado on the way, and the ship would be destroyed? We were lucky enough to be washed here by the seawater. Please let us board the ship and leave this desolate island. Hang hated the burly man's hot gaze. However, she concealed her disgust in order to leave this place. She revealed a lovely and touching expression as she narrated the tragic experience of Yi Chunfeng and her guardian. Sure, should we let them board the ship? The burly man stared at the innocent Yi Chunfeng with hostility. He didn't make a decision on his own. Instead, he softly asked an old woman with snow-white hair. She was wearing a white robe. She had a cold and arrogant look on her face. The corners of her eyes were covered with crow's feet. Well, it's not impossible to let you board the ship. However, to prevent accidents, I have to impose a restriction on your souls. You can decide whether you want to or not. The white-haired old woman carefully looked at Yi Chunfeng and his wife. She found that their bodies were seriously injured. She pondered for a moment and said, "Impose a soul restriction." Chang's complexion changed when she heard the old woman's words. If someone imposed a restriction on her soul, she would lose her freedom and be completely controlled. Don't be afraid. Promise her that I have a way to break the soul restriction. When Hang was about to refuse, Yi Chunfeng's voice suddenly resounded in her ears. You really have a way? Hang was somewhat surprised as she replied. Yes, I have 100% confidence. With the God-eating brain, a mere soul restriction couldn't pose any threat to Yi Chunfeng. He was confident that he could solve this crisis without anyone noticing. Senior, will you remove the soul restriction for us when we leave? Also, you won't harm us, right? The clever Hang didn't immediately agree. Instead, she asked with some resistance. Don't worry. When you leave, I will remove the soul restriction on you. The white-haired old woman nodded and said, As long as you don't harbor any evil intentions, we won't harm you. However, we don't keep idle people. When you board the ship, you have to do some chores. Alright then. We are willing to let Senior place an imprint on our souls. Yu Nikhang and Yi Chunfeng looked at each other and said, somewhat resigned to their fate. Seeing that Yi Chunfeng and his wife had agreed, the white-haired old woman immediately jumped down from the 10-meter-high deck and came to their side. Using her unique technique, she placed a soul restriction on Yi Chunfeng and his wife's souls. As the existence of the god-eating brain was too heaven-defying, the white-haired old woman, who was a level 6 heavenly beast immortal, didn't discover its existence. After placing the soul restriction, the coldness on her face lessened a lot. After boarding the ship, Yi Chunfeng noticed that there were many people on the ship. Among them, there was a young woman who was wearing a jade-green silk dress. Her skin was fair and delicate, and her long, dark purple hair casually draped over her shoulders. She had a charming appearance, but there was a trace of worry between her eyebrows. Beside this young woman stood two white-haired old women with strong auras. From the aura they emitted, they were both level 6 heavenly beast immortals. They were only a hair's breadth away from the Xian beast ancestor realm. The white-haired old woman walked in front of the young woman and said respectfully, "Young miss, I pitied them, so I took the liberty to let them board the ship. However, I placed a restriction on their souls, so they won't harm us. And, protector by, bring them to the servants' quarters." Although Yi Chunfeng and Yu Nikhang had extraordinary appearances, the young woman, who had a lot on her mind, didn't look at them directly. She nodded symbolically and said in a tired voice, "Follow me." Chapter 178. This bottle is a healing medicine. Take it and have a good rest. When your injuries are better, I will arrange for you to do some chores. The white-haired old woman left behind a white jade porcelain bottle and turned to leave. Walking into the damp and narrow servants' room, Yi Chunfeng found that there was nothing in the room other than a bed, a wooden table, and a few stools. He couldn't help but shake his head. "I'm a little tired. I'll take a rest first." Although the conditions were poor, it was much better than sleeping in the open on an isolated island. Yu Nikhang stretched lazily and comfortably sprawled on the hard wooden bed, occupying the entire bed. "Yi Chunfeng, are you a man or not? What do I have to do for you to be willing to impart to me the last 2 stages of the 6 meridians God Gang?" Catching sight of Yi Chunfeng's strange gaze, Yu Nikhang revealed a victorious smile, fiddled with her long hair that hung down to her cheeks, and said with a seductive expression, "I'm not imparting." Looking at the crafty look in Yu Nichang's eyes, Yi Chunfeng faintly replied. He sat cross-legged on the damp ground and silently controlled the God-Eater brain to break the soul restriction in his mind. Yu Nikhang felt that Yi Chunfeng was a block of wood that was indifferent to her beauty. Hearing his resolute answer, she was so angry that her lungs were about to explode. However, the more Yi Chunfeng refused, the more Yu Nikhang wanted to conquer him. After about half an incense's time, Yi Chunfeng greatly weakened the soul restriction. However, in order to prevent the white-haired old woman from discovering it, he didn't forcefully break the restriction. However, even if the restriction existed, it wouldn't pose any threat to him. Yi Chunfeng only needed a thought to break the restriction. "Hey, wake up. Don't sleep anymore." After resolving the crisis in his mind, Yi Chunfeng walked to the bedside and patted Yu Nichang's shoulder, who was sulking under the blanket. "What are you doing?" Yu Nikhang glared at him and asked in an unfriendly tone. "If you don't want to break the seal in your mind, then forget it," Yi Chunfeng said with a shrug. Yu Nikhang realized that Yi Chunfeng was her nemesis. She wanted to go crazy, but there was nothing she could do. After about an incense stick's worth of time, Yi Chunfeng withdrew the soul force that had penetrated into Yu Nichang's brain. He let out a long sigh and said, "All right, the soul imprint in your mind has been weakened to the limit by me. When the time comes, you only need a thought to break it." After that, Yi Chunfeng no longer paid any attention to Yu Nikhang. He studied the healing medicine that the white-haired old woman had given him and found that it was extremely effective. Without hesitation, he swallowed the entire bottle of medicine into his stomach and circulated the soul-devouring art to quickly refine and absorb it. After a night of recuperation, Yi Chunfeng discovered that his injuries had miraculously healed by 10%. His face revealed a trace of pleasant surprise. Who are these people on the ship? They actually casually gave me such effective healing medicine. Yi Chunfeng muttered to himself. He was curious about the purple-haired lady and the others' identities. He released a little of his powerful soul force and extended it. Yi Chunfeng's brain had fused with the soul-devouring brain, so his soul force was extremely powerful. As long as he was careful, he didn't have to worry about being discovered by the people on the ship. The array pattern seal. Slowly, Yi Chunfeng's extended soul force suddenly came into contact with the array pattern seal and blocked his soul force. What is in the room? Yi Chunfeng hesitated for a moment and tried to control his soul force to break the array pattern seal. With the help of the soul-devouring brain, his soul force quickly understood the array pattern seal and penetrated it, entering the room. Elder May, how is the situation in the ancient ink merchant union? The purple-haired lady in a jade-green dress was sitting on a wooden armchair. She looked a little tired as she gently massaged her temples with her white fingers and asked softly, I just received news from the voice transmission array. It has been confirmed that your two uncles seized the opportunity when you were away and seized the position of the family head. They also massacred many of the old family head's trusted aides and took control of the entire merchant alliance. Moreover, according to reliable sources, your two uncles even hired people from the Black Devils to kill us in order to take back the key. We are now in a very dangerous situation, the white-haired protector sure said with a serious expression. It seems like my parents were really killed by those two bastards. The purple-haired lady's beautiful eyes were filled with coldness. She clenched her fists tightly and spoke with hatred. Protector sure, you purposely let those two on the ship, right? An old woman in a black robe and a dragon-headed walking stick stood behind the purple-haired lady. Her face was filled with wrinkles. The white-haired old woman nodded and said, yes. Although the two of them are heavily injured, their strength is not bad. If something happens to us, the two of them will have a decent battle strength. Moreover, I have placed an imprint on their souls. When the time comes, they will definitely help us. I'm afraid we can't return to the ancient ink merchant union. Elder May, where do you think we should go? Although the purple-haired lady couldn't wait to return to the ancient ink merchant union and kill her two uncles to avenge her parents, she knew that in the face of such a great disparity in strength, returning would be no different from suicide. She asked with a tired expression. I think it would be better to go to the Xingluo continent. That place has a lot of land and resources. With our current wealth and the goods on the ship, we should be able to settle down there, Elder May, who was holding a dragon-headed walking stick, slowly said. We are too far away from the Xingluo continent. Moreover, before we reach the Xingluo continent, we will have to pass through the chaotic ocean. That is too dangerous. Another gray-robed elder Hong shook her head. AI, we can only take one step at a time. Although crossing the chaotic ocean is very dangerous, if the assassins of the black demons catch up to us, our situation will be even more dangerous. Elder May sighed softly. After accidentally eavesdropping on the conversation of the purple-haired lady and the others, Yi Chunfeng withdrew his spiritual strength and frowned. He didn't think that his luck would be so bad. For no reason at all, he would be dragged into a pursuit. However, the North Sea was vast and boundless. In his situation where he had yet to recover from his injuries, he didn't dare to leave without permission. AI, the only thing I can do now is to heal my injuries as quickly as possible. Only then will I have the strength to protect myself. Yi Chunfeng helplessly sighed in his heart. He didn't tell Yu Nikhang about his situation. Instead, He took out 2 spirit-grade soul pills and threw them into his mouth. He circulated the soul-devouring art to absorb and refine them to heal his injuries. After continuously taking a large number of spirit-grade soul pills, Yi Chunfeng's body had developed a strong resistance to them. Therefore, the spirit-grade soul pills couldn't heal his injuries. Since his injuries couldn't be healed in a short period of time, Yi Chunfeng left the room alone. He planned to ask Protector Shi for a bottle of healing pills that would be beneficial to his injuries. With the situation of the purple-haired woman and the others, Yi Chunfeng believed that Protector Shi would definitely give him more healing pellets to speed up his recovery and increase their battle prowess. Just as Yi Chunfeng left the room, the tall and sturdy man who had always been thinking about Yu Nikhang and coveting her beauty found out from his informants that Yi Chunfeng had left by himself. He brought 2 attendants with him and arrived outside their room. Chapter 179. It's you? What are you doing here? Yu Nikhang, who was cultivating on the wooden bed, immediately opened her eyes when she heard the heavy door being pushed open. When she discovered that the person standing at the door was not Yi Chunfeng, but the burly man from before, her face instantly darkened as she shouted sternly, "Don't be nervous. I have no ill intentions. I'm here to give you medicine." The burly man looked at Yu Nichang's beautiful face with a burning gaze and said with a smile, "No need. Hurry up and get out." How could Yu Nikhang not know what the burly man wanted to do? Seeing his blasphemous gaze, Yu Nikhang was infuriated. If it weren't for the fact that she had yet to recover from her injuries, Yu Nikhang would have already taken action and gouged out his eyes. Get out? If it weren't for my suggestion yesterday, the 2 of you would have been trapped on that isolated island. Shouldn't you repay me? The burly man was unmoved as he spoke with ill intentions. What if I don't agree? Although Yu Nikhang was bold and unrestrained, she was not open to everyone. When she heard the burly man's blunt words, her eyes were filled with killing intent. Don't agree. The burly man sneered and threatened, "If I can get you on the ship, I can also get you off the ship to feed the fish. You better listen to me. Also, it's your fortune that I'm willing to favor you. As long as you submit to me and become my woman, I guarantee that you will receive endless benefit. It's your fortune that Protector Yao has taken a fancy to you. Do you know how many women on 3-Star Island want to throw themselves into your arms, but Protector Yao doesn't even care? Don't be ignorant of your fortune. If you miss this opportunity, you will probably regret it for the rest of your life." One of Protector Yao's followers advised with a smile. "She's my woman. I'm afraid your wish will fall through. Also, get out of here before I lose my temper." Yi Chunfeng, who had returned from the deck after sensing the abnormality with his strength of soul, heard the threats of Protector Yao and the others. His eyes turned cold and sharp as he spoke sternly. "Motherf ***, how dare you talk to me like that? Do you believe that I won't cripple you right now?" Yi Chunfeng's arrogant order resounded in Protector Yao's ears. He was enraged. A terrifying baleful aura was emitted from his body. He was like a ferocious and hungry wolf as he stared at Yi Chunfeng and spoke ferociously. When Yu Nikhang heard Yi Chunfeng's words, a strange feeling arose in her heart. Her charming and enchanting face revealed an enchanting smile. She blinked her big eyes and looked tenderly at Yi Chunfeng, who had just returned. "I will count to 3. If you don't scram, don't blame me for being impolite," Yi Chunfeng warned coldly, ignoring Protector Yao's threat. The reason why Yi Chunfeng dared to offend Guardian Yao and the others was that he had inadvertently eavesdropped on the conversation between the purple-haired woman and the others in the morning. He knew that they were in a dangerous situation. Under the situation where his soul was restricted, the stronger his combat strength was, the more they would value him. More importantly, after he displayed enough strength, he would have the opportunity to obtain more healing resources from the purple-haired woman and the others to speed up the recovery of his injuries. "You're courting death." Hearing Yi Chunfeng's arrogant words, the 2 followers of Guardian Yao, who were Class 1 heavenly beast immortals, were infuriated. They fused with their spiritual beasts, amplified their strength, and attacked Yi Chunfeng from both sides. Yi Chunfeng had yet to fully recover from his injuries, and after the treatment, he could only use 30% of his strength. However, with his powerful body, he could unleash a force of nearly 100,000 jin. Facing the attacks of the two first-grade heavenly beast immortals, Yi Chunfeng did not dodge, but charged straight at them. Break his limbs and make him lie on the ground and beg for mercy like a dog. In Protector Yao's opinion, the seriously injured Yi Chunfeng was definitely not a match for his two followers. He had thought of a plan to cripple Yi Chunfeng and use his life to threaten Yu Nikhang. He wanted to make Yu Nikhang yield. Collapsing Cloud Palm. In order to intimidate Protector Yao, Yi Chunfeng did not care about the injuries on his body and forcibly used the Collapsing Cloud Palm. Under the amplification of the Collapsing Cloud Palm, his arms erupted with an astonishing strength of nearly 100,000 kilograms, causing the airflow in the cabin to shatter the soul skills unleashed by his two followers as easily as crushing dry weeds and smashing rotten wood, heavily smashing into their chests. Kacha! Two sounds rang out. Yi Chunfeng's two collapsing cloud palms fiercely imprinted on their chests, breaking their sternum and causing their chests to completely collapse. They lost control of their bodies and heavily smashed into the cabin, deforming the solid cabin. A loud sound reverberated in all directions. You actually dared to injure my people." Seeing the scene in front of him that was completely different from what he had imagined, Protector Yao's heart was in turmoil. He never dreamed that Yi Chunfeng, who was seriously injured, would instantly injure his subordinates. Following that, his face became extremely gloomy. Like an angry lion, he glared at Yi Chunfeng and roared. "What, you want to make a move too?" With Yi Chunfeng's current strength, he was definitely not a match for Protector Yao, who was a Class 5 heavenly beast immortal, if he did not summon the sword puppet and used his life spirit technique. However, facing the murderous Protector Yao, Yi Chunfeng did not retreat. The murderous aura accumulated by the blood and bones erupted from his body like a volcano, shocking Protector Yao's soul. "Today, I want your life." Although Yi Chunfeng's murderous aura shocked Protector Yao, he did not retreat in his own territory. Boiling with purple light appeared on his body and screamed at Yi Chunfeng. Perfect sword aura. In order to alarm Protector Shi and the others, Yi Chunfeng's pupils shrank. The sword aura in his body was released without reservation. The terrifying sword aura made Protector Yao's face change drastically. There was a hint of fear in his eyes. "Sword aura, you have actually comprehended sword aura." Protector Yao found that Yi Chunfeng was far more terrifying than he had imagined. But now, he had no way out. If he was scared away by Yi Chunfeng, he would become a laughingstock. "Go to hell!" Scorching Sun Saber Technique. Protector Yao roared. A fiery red battle saber that had reached the level of a mid-grade earth weapon appeared in his hand. Rolling red light poured out from the battle saber. It carried a powerful destructive force and slashed at Yi Chunfeng, who was outside the cabin. Jasper Sword. Yi Chunfeng did not dare to expose his titanic fault heavenly sword. He did not borrow the power of the profound frost spirit water. Instead, he took out his mid-grade Jasper sword and fused his perfect sword aura into the sword. He maximized the attack power of the Jasper sword and met the attack head-on. When the saber and sword clashed, there was an ear-piercing sound of collision. The powerful rebounding force fluctuated the air and shook the cabin. The corridor was buzzing, which alarmed the entire ship. Deng deng deng, Yi Chunfeng's old injuries were triggered when he faced Protector Yao's soul skill head-on. The blood in his body was rolling violently. A trace of blood flowed out from the corner of his mouth. His body crashed heavily into a steel pillar. Although Protector Yao had the upper hand, the powerful destructive force of his perfect sword aura had damaged his meridians. This made him furious. He gripped his red battle saber tightly and prepared to continue using his soul skill to kill Yi Chunfeng. What are you doing? All of you, stop. Chapter 180. Elder Mei, Protector Shi. Seeing Elder Mei and Protector Shi slowly walking down the stairs, Protector Yao's face darkened. He glared at Yi Chunfeng angrily, but he didn't dare to attack again. What the hell is going on? Why did you fight in the cabin? Elder Mei, who was holding a dragon-headed walking stick, glared at Yi Chunfeng and Protector Yao and questioned coldly. Nothing, just a misunderstanding. Protector Yao, who knew that he was in the wrong, took a deep breath and suppressed the anger in his heart. He gritted his teeth and said, preparing to settle the score with Yi Chunfeng in the future. Misunderstanding? Yi Chunfeng intended to make a big deal out of this matter and attract the attention of Elder Mei, Protector Shi, and the others to gain more benefit. He sneered and said, "This is not a misunderstanding. Kid, don't take advantage of me. If you offend me, you won't have a good ending." Seeing that Yi Chunfeng intended to tell the truth, Protector Yao, who had a gloomy face, threatened him. "Tell me, why did you fight in the cabin?" Elder Mei asked in a low voice. "Let me tell you." Dressed in a fiery red dress, Moon Raiment walked out of the ship's hold. She looked at Yi Chunfeng with a mesmerizing gaze and told him everything that had happened. "It's not like that. Don't make unfounded accusations," Protector Yao retorted loudly with a horrifying look in his eyes. "I knew you wouldn't admit it, but I secretly used the memory stone to remember what happened just now. I'm not afraid that you'll deny it." The corners of Yi Chunfeng's mouth curled up slightly, revealing a trace of coldness. Then, he took out a memory stone from his bosom. Looking at the memory stone in Yi Chunfeng's hand, Protector Yao immediately prevaricated. He didn't expect to be set up, and his face was so gloomy that it was about to drip water. "You win. Let's wait and see." Protector Yao knew that he wouldn't be able to gain any advantage if he stayed any longer. He left a ruthless message and left sullenly with his two seriously injured followers. "You comprehended sword force?" Protector Yao had a special status, so Elder Mei did not dare to punish him lightly to avoid shaking the people's hearts. After she allowed him to leave, she looked at Yi Chunfeng with a burning gaze and asked. "Yes." Yi Chunfeng nodded. "How much of the sword force have you comprehended?" After confirming that Yi Chunfeng had truly comprehended the sword force, Elder Mei and Protector Shi's eyes lit up. They couldn't help but look at him in a higher light. Perfect sword force. In order to gain more benefits, Yi Chunfeng did not hide anything. "What? You've comprehended a perfect sword force?" Elder Mei and Protector Shi's eyes were filled with shock. They looked at Yi Chunfeng's young face in disbelief and said with uncertainty, "Really?" Looking at the doubtful eyes of the two, Yi Chunfeng's perfect sword aura gushed out. The terrifying sword aura made everyone present shudder. It was as if there was a sharp sword hanging over their necks, and they could lose their lives at any moment. "Who are you? Why are you drifting here? Also, how strong are you?" After confirming that Yi Chunfeng had truly comprehended a perfect sword force, Elder Mei was curious about Yi Chunfeng's identity and strength, so she asked. "My wife and I are itinerant cultivators from the North Snow County. We wanted to go out to the sea to seek opportunities, but who would have thought that we would encounter a tornado? I'm a level 2 Heavenly Beast Immortal, and my wife is at the peak of level 6 Heavenly Beast Immortal. However, we're severely injured now, so we can only display 30% of our strength." Yi Chunfeng repeated what he had said before, and then confessed his and Yu Nichong's strength. Although Elder Mei had some doubts about Yi Chunfeng's fabricated identity, she was delighted to learn about Yi Chunfeng's and Protector Shi's strength. She was especially surprised by Yi Chunfeng's strength. A level 2 Heavenly Beast Immortal, who was severely injured, was able to fight against Protector Yao, who was a level 5 Heavenly Beast Immortal. If the two of them recovered from their injuries, it would undoubtedly greatly enhance their overall strength. Moreover, Elder May knew that Protector Sure had placed a restriction on their souls, so she was not afraid that they would recover their strength and plot against her. Protector Sure, arrange a good room for the couple. Also, warn the others not to disturb them, Elder May ordered loudly. Yes, I'll arrange it right away, Protector Sure, who was also pleasantly surprised, nodded. Elder May, Protector Sure, my wife and I are severely injured. We would like to ask for some healing items. Is that okay? Yi Chunfeng struck while the iron was hot and said, As long as my wife and I recover from our injuries, we'll definitely repay you. Write down what you need on a piece of paper. As long as it's not rare or precious, I can make the decision to give you some. Elder May nodded and agreed. Thank you, Elder May, Protector Sure. Yi Chunfeng thanked them softly and immediately took out a pen and paper from his Qiankuan bag. He wrote down more than 20 kinds of body tempering and healing items. Elder May couldn't help but frown when she saw that Yi Chunfeng had asked for 7 kinds of precious spirit items. Among them, the spirit jade heart fruit was extremely precious. They only had one of it. However, Elder May hesitated when she thought of her own situation and their combat strength. Protector Sure, check their soul restriction and see if there's any problem. Elder May transmitted a message to Sure Mu. Okay. Protector Sure nodded and used a special method to repeatedly confirm that there was no problem with the soul restriction in Yi Chunfeng and his wife's mind. Then, he transmitted a message to Elder May. You two can go and rest with Protector Sure. I'll order someone to send the items you need to your rooms in a while. Thank you, Elder May. Yi Chunfeng was overjoyed when he found out that the ship had everything he wanted. With these spirit items, Yi Chunfeng was confident that he could recover from most of his injuries in a short time. Okay, you two can stay here from now on. Don't worry, no one will disturb your recovery. Protector Sure led Yi Chunfeng and his wife to the upper deck of the ship. He arranged a spacious cabin for them. The floor was covered with thick animal skins and the furnishings were all available. After giving them some instructions, he turned and left. My dear husband, is there something you are hiding from me? She asked. Unikhang took off the small leather boots on her feet. She walked barefoot on the thick animal skins and came to Yi Chunfeng's side. She opened her rosy lips slightly and asked softly. As expected, I can't hide it from you. Yi Chunfeng revealed a faint smile and transmitted a message to Unikhang about his situation. I was wondering why they were so kind. It turns out that they wanted to use us as cannon fodder. Unichang's eyes revealed a fierce look as she said angrily. They used us, but we can also use them to recover from our injuries as soon as possible. Yi Chunfeng said. That's right, my dear husband. I'm very satisfied with your performance just now. If you can impart the last 2 levels of the 6 Meridians Divine Shield to me, I'll be even more satisfied. Unikhang revealed a charming smile and said, Since you want to learn so much, I'll impart the last 2 levels of the 6 Meridians Divine Shield to you when we get the healing items. Looking at Unichang's yearning eyes, Yi Chunfeng thought of the dangers they might encounter in the North Sea in the future. He changed his mind and decided to impart the complete 6 Meridians Divine Shield to her to increase their strength. Really, hearing that Yi Chunfeng had finally agreed, Unikhang revealed a look of surprise. She couldn't believe what she had heard. Really? Chapter 181. Time flew by and half a month passed in the blink of an eye. After obtaining the complete cultivation chant for the 6 Meridian Divine Shield, Yi Chunfeng and Unikhang became even closer. In addition, with the healing items provided by Elder May, the two of them quickly recovered from their injuries. After being warned by Elder May and the others, Yi Chunfeng and Unikhang did not encounter any disturbances during this period of time. Even Enforcer Yao, who was on bad terms with them, did not appear. As of now, Yi Chunfeng's overdrawn body had recovered about 50% of his injuries. As for Unikhang, with the help of a 10,000-year-old blood ginseng king, She cultivated the flesh refinement realm to completion and began cultivating the viscera refinement realm. After reaching completion in the flesh refinement realm, Yu Nichang's injuries had recovered about 60%. As long as she could cultivate the viscera refinement realm to completion, she would be able to use the powerful recovery ability of her body to heal her injuries. As for the 8 body-tempering spiritual items provided by Elder May, she had only refined 3 of them. Once she refined the remaining 5 body-tempering spiritual items into her 5 viscera and 6 bowels, she was confident that she could cultivate the viscera refinement realm to completion. I wonder if the water of heavenly fate combined with the spirit jade heart fruit can help my overdrawn body recover about 80% of my injuries. After refining more than 10 spiritual items and recovering about 50% of his injuries, Yi Chenfeng took out a bottle of water of heavenly fate soaked in the spirit jade heart fruit. After soaking in the water for half a month, the jade heart fruit, which had a strong recovery effect, had already fused with the water of heavenly fate. When Yi Chenfeng opened the sealed bottle, waves of dense spirit qi crazily flowed out, making one feel relaxed and happy just by smelling it. Gulp, gulp. Yi Chenfeng raised his head and drank the entire bottle of water of heavenly fate. Immediately, a large amount of spirit energy exploded in his body, passing through his crisscrossing meridians and crazily fusing into his overdrawn body. Soul-devouring art, refine. In order to prevent the spirit energy from leaking out, Yi Chenfeng forcefully sealed all the pores on his body and circulated the soul-devouring art over and over again. He quickly refined the spirit energy that exploded in his body and healed his injuries. Although the process of sealing his pores and forcefully refining the spirit energy was painful, Yi Chenfeng relied on his strong willpower to endure it. After about a day, Yi Chenfeng's overdrawn body had completely merged with the water of heavenly fate and the spirit jade heart fruit's recovery ability. Phew, I've finally recovered. The water of heavenly fate. Of the heavenly fate of heavenly fates of heavenly fate. Ye of heavenly fate. Of the heavenly stage. Just as Yi Chenfeng and Yu Nichang were hiding in the room, using all the time they had to heal their injuries, the sky above the speedily sailing ship was suddenly covered by dark clouds. A fierce wind blew, and a terrifying hurricane struck the heavens and earth, setting off huge waves that slapped against the sea surface. What's going on? Is a storm coming? Standing on the deck, Protector Sure frowned as he looked into the distance. Rumble, suddenly, a deafening clap of thunder tore through the sky. Dark red clouds surged madly from all directions, piling up to several thousand meters thick in the sky. No, this doesn't seem to be a storm. It's a lightning tribulation. A demonic beast is preparing to undergo a tribulation. Hearing the commotion, the purple-haired woman, Elder May, and the others all appeared on the deck. They saw that the clouds in the distance had turned dark red. Bolts of lightning flickered in the clouds. Elder May, who was experienced and knowledgeable, cried out in alarm. A demonic beast undergoing a tribulation. Hearing Elder May's shout and feeling the powerful pressure from the clouds above their heads, everyone on the deck tensed up and became nervous. Quickly turn the ship around. Don't get close to the front. Elder May made a prompt decision and ordered loudly. Just as the ship turned around, the dark red clouds started to rotate, causing a huge whirlpool to appear in the sea. The whirlpool sucked in the sea with a radius of 100 miles, causing the sea to fluctuate violently. Huge waves that were 100 meters high soared into the sky, violently slapping against the sea surface. The spiritual energy of heaven and earth was completely chaotic. Roar! An extremely penetrating roar of a demonic beast was heard from a misty island in front of them. The terrifying sound wave soared into the sky, causing the dark red tribulation clouds in the sky to fluctuate violently. Being provoked by the demonic beast, thousands of flashing electric snakes appeared in the tribulation clouds, rolling and rolling in the blood-red tribulation clouds. The deafening sound of thunder was unceasingly heard, causing everyone's eardrums to hurt. What realm is this demonic beast undergoing a tribulation? How can it create such a terrifying commotion? Hearing the huge commotion, Yi Chunfeng, who appeared on the deck, looked at the chaotic space in the distance and muttered to himself, "The lightning tribulation is about to descend. Everyone, quickly cover your ears. Don't let the sound of the lightning tribulation injure your soul." Seeing that the lightning tribulation was about to descend, Elder May immediately shouted at everyone, "Rumble, rumble, rumble." Just as Elder May's words fell, a purple heavenly lightning rapidly struck down from the tribulation clouds. The purple light became even more dazzling, causing everyone to be unable to open their eyes. Roar. Being attacked by the lightning tribulation, the demonic beast let out a high-pitched roar. A huge tortoise shadow appeared with a bloody mouth, resisting the attack of the lightning tribulation. The turbulent sea was affected by the lightning tribulation, causing the sea water to roll violently. The dark red space was like the end of the world, causing fear to rise in everyone's heart. So scary. The might of this lightning tribulation is too terrifying. The might of the lightning tribulation deeply shocked Yi Chunfeng's soul, causing him to revere the heavens and feel his own insignificance. Many of the weaker disciples on the ship were affected by the deafening thunder. They felt a splitting headache as they hugged their heads and fell to the ground in pain. Black Tortoise. It's the rank 3 heavenly beast Black Tortoise in the 3-Star Islands sea region. Why is it undergoing its tribulation here? Seeing the tortoise shadow in the distance, the purple-haired woman, Elder May, and the others immediately recognized it. Deep fear appeared on their faces. "Speed up! Burn your energy and speed up! Leave this place quickly. Otherwise we will be in danger." Elder May shouted when she saw many demonic beasts in the sea were frightened and frantically swarming towards the ship. Her expression changed drastically as she urged loudly. As the ship accelerated away from the area where the Black Tortoise was undergoing its tribulation, the second lightning tribulation descended. The might of this lightning tribulation was far stronger than the first. The destructive force was even greater. The strong might caused the small island beside the Black Tortoise to sink. Many demonic beasts that could not dodge in time were killed by the lightning tribulation's might, dyeing the sea water red. Activate the soul crystal cannons and blast open a path. There were simply too many demonic beasts in the sea. In a panic, many demonic beasts began to attack the ship. Elder May had no choice but to personally oversee the ship. She commanded the crew to burn their soul crystals and activate the soul crystal cannons, forcibly carving out a path of blood and safely leaving the area where the Black Tortoise was undergoing its tribulation. Not long after the ancient Ink Merchant Alliance's ship left, a huge ship was attracted by the commotion caused by the Black Tortoise's tribulation. This ship had a banner with the words Black Demon on it that was 100 meters tall. Clearly, this ship was chasing after the purple-haired woman and the others. When they approached the area where the Black Tortoise was undergoing its tribulation, they seemed to have discovered something. They suddenly changed directions and chased after the ancient Ink Merchant Alliance's ship that had just left the area. Chapter 182. Phew, that was close. We've finally escaped. The purple-haired woman and the others had burned a large number of soul crystals and killed their way out of the encirclement of tens of thousands of monsters. They heaved a long sigh of relief and spoke with lingering fear. If they had been trapped in that sea region, just the tens of thousands of monsters would have been enough to destroy the impregnable ship. Even if they had extraordinary abilities, they wouldn't have been able to survive. I really didn't expect that we would encounter that Black Tortoise undergoing its lightning tribulation. It seems like it was afraid of being attacked by other monsters in the 3-Star Island region during its tribulation, so it had no choice but to travel tens of thousands of seas to undergo its tribulation here. If it survives the lightning tribulation and receives the baptism of the lightning tribulation, it will break through to become a level 4 heavenly beast and possess the strength of a peerless king. When it returns, it will become the absolute king of the 3-star island region, Elder May said. Elder May, after that black tortoise survives its lightning tribulation, do you think we have a chance to use the cultivation resources on the ship to ask it to help us take revenge and take back control of the ancient Ink Merchant Alliance? The purple-haired woman asked after some thought. Clearly, she was very unwilling to give up the ancient Ink Merchant Alliance and wanted to take revenge for her dead parent. No, that's too risky. Elder May shook her head and said, Legend has it that the black tortoise is cruel and greedy. Our ancient Ink Merchant Alliance has no relationship with it. If we blindly come into contact with it, there is a high chance of an accident happening. Elder May, what if we give that key to it? The purple-haired woman said unwillingly as she gently bit her rosy lips. Yuyen, I know you are eager to take revenge, but that key is our greatest bargaining chip. It's also what your 2 uncles want the most. We can't lose it so easily. Moreover, we are not sure whether the black tortoise will kill and rob after getting the key. We need to think about revenge in the long run. We need to think about it carefully, Elder May said with a soft sigh as she looked at the purple-haired woman who was blinded by hatred. Qi Yi Chunfeng, who had just left the deck, happened to hear the purple-haired woman and the others' conversation. He was a little interested in the key they were talking about. Qingfeng, what's happening outside? Yu Nikhang, who was in the midst of refining the heaven and earth spirit herbs and cultivating the 6 meridian divinity shield, opened her eyes and asked when she heard the footsteps. Earlier, there was a Yao beast undergoing its tribulation in the ocean. However, it is now safe, Yi Chunfeng said coolly. Demonic beast tribulation. Yu Nikhang raised her eyebrows and said in astonishment, This North Sea is indeed abnormally dangerous. There is actually such a terrifying demonic beast. If that demonic beast had passed through the lightning tribulation, it would most likely possess the strength of a peerless king. Normally, when a level 3 heavenly beast reached the limit of its power, it would attract a lightning tribulation. Through the lightning tribulation, it would baptize its demonic core and evolve its bloodline power. At the level 7 heavenly beast stage, it would attract the second lightning tribulation. Only when it reached the limit of heavenly beasts would it attract the third lightning tribulation and complete the transformation into a saint beast. Nikhang, how's the tempering of your 5 viscera and 6 bowels? How far are you from the initial success of the viscera refining stage? Yi Chunfeng realized that they could encounter danger at any time in the North Sea. Only when he and Yu Nikhang fully recovered would they have the opportunity to deal with the dangers that could arise at any time. I estimate that in another month or so, I will be able to reach the initial success of the viscera refining stage and recover from my injuries, Yu Nikhang said. All right, I won't disturb you any further. You can continue with your cultivation. We must quickly recover from our injuries, only then can we control our own destiny. Yi Chunfeng nodded and said, Young Master Yi, miss you, I have brought food for you. Just as Yi Chunfeng and Yu Nikhang were recovering from their injuries, a series of hurried knocks sounded from the door. A maid wearing an emerald green dress, with long black hair coiled on top of her head and a flushed face, walked in with a sumptuous spread of food and placed it on the round table. Sorry for the trouble, Cui. Yi Chunfeng smiled at the green-dressed girl and softly thanked her. Nikhang, you must be hungry. Let's eat something first. After breaking through to the heavenly beast immortal realm, although Yi Chunfeng's appetite for food was not very strong, the food cooked by the ancient Ink Merchant Alliance was very much to his liking. Moreover, there were many ingredients and spirit items. Yi Chunfeng said softly as he smelled the fragrance coming from the round table. No, I'm not hungry. You should continue cultivating. Yu Nikhang shook her head and did not stop cultivating. All right, then I'll eat first. With that, Yi Chunfeng got off the bed and went to the round table to eat alone. When Yi Chunfeng was full and was about to return to Yu Nichang's side to continue healing, the sensitive soul-devouring brain suddenly detected a trace of abnormality in his body. Poison, I've been poisoned. Under the analysis of the soul-devouring brain, Yi Chunfeng unexpectedly discovered that a colorless, odorless, and very difficult to detect had appeared in his body. It was a very special poison that was slowly corroding his body. Once the poison acted up, although it was not fatal, it would cause weakness in the body, and he would be at the mercy of others. It's the food. Someone had poisoned the food. Yi Chunfeng immediately thought of the source of the poison. After confirming that the food he had just eaten was poisonous, he immediately controlled the parasitic chaos divine wood in his heart to devour the poison. The chaos divine wood could devour all energy and was the nemesis of all poisons. Under the devouring of the chaos divine wood, the poison in Yi Chunfeng's body quickly disappeared. What's wrong, Chunfeng? What happened? Sensing that something was wrong with Yi Chunfeng's aura, Yu Nichang stopped cultivating and asked with concern. I was poisoned just now, but I'm fine now, Yi Chunfeng said with a gloomy face. His mind was spinning rapidly as he tried to figure out who had poisoned him. What? Could it be that those people want to harm us? Yu Nichang's expression changed slightly as she said sternly. Yi Chunfeng shook his head and said, It shouldn't be them. If they wanted to harm us, they would have done it long ago. They wouldn't have given us so many healing spiritual items and waited for our injuries to gradually recover before making a move. Could there be a spy on this ship? Thinking about the situation of the purple-haired woman and the others, the smart Yu Nichang immediately thought of the problem. If I'm not wrong, the people chasing after them are very close. Thus, the spy on the ship chose to poison them at this time. The others should have been poisoned as well. There shouldn't be many people who know about our powerful combat strength. Thus, the spy should be an important person on this ship, Yi Chunfeng analyzed. Chunfeng, what do you want to do now? Although Yu Nichang didn't want to be innocently involved in the pursuit, the North Sea was vast and boundless. There were too many hidden dangers in the sea. Leaving without permission would be even more dangerous. Yi Chunfeng already knew the purple-haired woman's name. After pondering for a moment, he said, Think of a way to inform Moyen and tell her to be careful. Yu Nichang looked at Yi Chunfeng with burning eyes, her tone unfriendly as she said, Chunfeng, don't tell me you've taken a liking to her. Yi Chunfeng rubbed his nose and said half-jokingly, I don't even like you. Why would I like her? Hearing Yi Chunfeng's answer, Yu Nichang nearly exploded with anger. Her eyes revealed a terrifying gaze. All right, I'm just joking with you. You are the most beautiful. Seeing Yu Nichang's angry eyes, Yi Chunfeng smiled and said, Right now, we are grasshoppers on the same rope as her. If something happens to them, we won't be spared either. Thus, we must think of a way to help them get through this difficult time. However, there was another important point that Yi Chunfeng didn't tell Yu Nichang. He had developed a strong interest in the mysterious key in Moyen's hand. Chapter 183. The night was like water. The gentle moonlight poured down and sprinkled on the surface of the sea. The speedily moving ship was like a leaf boat, cutting through the rippling waves on the surface of the sea and breaking the tranquility of the night. As the night grew deeper and deeper, the ship's crew was resting. Yi Chunfeng circulated the soul-devouring art and restrained his aura. Using form displacement phantom, he quietly snuck towards Moyen's room like a ghost. In order to avoid alerting Elder Mei, Elder Hong, and the others who were guarding Moyen, Yi Chunfeng didn't forcefully break the restriction on the door. Instead, he summoned the golden ping wings and flew outside the ship. With the help of the soul-devouring brain, he broke the restriction on the window and quietly entered Moyen's room. I hope she doesn't get too excited. Otherwise, I'll have to carry out Plan B. With the help of the bright moonlight, Yi Chunfeng looked at Moyen, who was lying flat on the soft bed. Her breathing was even, and her face was delicate. He tried to eliminate the sound of his footsteps and slowly approached her. Mo Yuyen, who was sleeping soundly, felt a trace of abnormality approaching her. She abruptly woke up from her sleep. Just as she was about to cry out in alarm, she found a large hand covering her mouth and a sharp blade against her throat. Feeling the sharp blade against her throat, Mo Yuyen's eyes revealed a trace of fear. But when she discovered that the one controlling her was Yi Chenfeng, who had saved her midway, her beautiful eyes were filled with anger. "It's you! What do you want?" With her mouth covered, Mo Yuyen forcefully suppressed the fear in her heart and tried to calm herself down. She transmitted her voice to ask. Seeing that Mo Yuyen didn't struggle, Yi Chenfeng secretly sighed in relief and quickly explained, "Don't be nervous. I don't have any malice towards you. The reason I came to find you this time is to save you." "Save me? Using this method to save me?" Mo Yuyen coldly replied, "Speak. What do you want? As long as it's not too outrageous, I'll agree to it." From Mo Yuyen's point of view, Yi Chenfeng must have snuck into her room because he was greedy for her belongings. He must be regretting saving them. "I know you don't believe me, but I really did want to save you. Because you were poisoned, someone wanted to do something to you. If you don't believe me, you can check your body and see if I'm lying to you," Yi Chenfeng said with a sound transmission. "Poisoned?" Hearing Yi Chenfeng's sound transmission, Mo Yuyen was both surprised and suspicious. But as she silently revolved her soul formula and carefully examined her body, she discovered the presence of poison. "He's really poisoned. How is this possible? Could it be?" Thinking of this possibility, Mo Yuyen broke out in a cold sweat. However, she was even more suspicious of Yi Chenfeng's goal. "Now, you should know that I didn't lie to you. If my guess is correct, there is a spy on this ship." Yi Chenfeng looked at Mo Yuyen's flickering eyes and continued to transmit his voice. "Who are you? What do you know?" Mo Yuyen forced herself to calm down. She wanted to figure out Yi Chenfeng's true goal. "I really am from the northern snow region. But I inadvertently heard that you were being hunted." Yi Chenfeng knew that if he wanted to gain Mo Yuyen's trust, he had to confess some things. And the northern sea is boundless. If something happens to you, us husband and wife won't be able to escape. So, helping you is the same as helping ourselves. "Alright, I believe you. Now, can you let me go?" Looking at Yi Chenfeng through the darkness of the night and sensing the aura he was emitting, Mo Yuyen felt uncomfortable all over. She replied in a low voice. "Miss Mo, I know that if I let you go, you have a 50% chance of calling for someone to capture me. But before you do that, listen to me first. First, I can remove the poison in your body and your trusted aide's body. Second, the spy chose to make a move at this time. It means that our position has been exposed, and the people chasing you are very close. So, it's not a wise choice to act rashly and alert the enemy. The spy is likely to hide and wait for the people chasing you to appear before giving you a fatal blow. Third, you might not have noticed, but your ship is moving very slowly. In other words, someone is deliberately slowing down the ship in the dark. And to be able to do this, it's definitely not an ordinary person. And most importantly, my soul has been sealed by Protector Sure. If I do anything to you, it'll be no different than courting death. Moreover, I have a 60% chance of helping you find the spy and subdue her. I only ask that after this matter is done, you help me and my wife remove the soul seal," Yi Chenfeng patiently said. After saying that, Yi Chenfeng removed the sharp blade from Mo Yuyen's throat and released her freedom. After regaining her freedom, Mo Yuyen's expression was unsettled. Yi Chenfeng's words were like a knife stabbing into her heart, making her make an intense choice. When she thought about the soul seal, she somewhat recalled Yi Chenfeng's words. "If you don't believe me, you can go to the window and take a look. Look at the speed of the ship. Slowing down the ship without permission isn't something an outsider like me can do." Yi Chenfeng saw that Mo Yuyen didn't shout, so he secretly relaxed and slowly said, "No need to look. I can feel that the ship has indeed slowed down. Mo Yuan whispered, if I choose to believe you, you have to help me rescue the spy. To be able to poison us without us knowing and control the ship, the identity of the person is definitely not ordinary. Miss Mo, do you have any suspects? Yi Chunfeng asked. No. Mo Yuan, whose heart was in a mess, shook her head and said, if Miss Mo really believes me, then tomorrow morning, you can use the excuse of discussing important matters to gather all the important people on the ship. Then, let me detoxify them. I believe that the spy poisoned us, but not themselves. Anyone who isn't poisoned is a major suspect. Yi Chunfeng said. Okay. Mo Yuan slightly raised her head and looked at Yi Chunfeng's determined eyes. Then, she nodded her head. As long as there aren't any spies working together with them, we have a high chance of escaping in this vast sea. Yi Chunfeng continued. Mo Yuan took a deep breath and said, young Master Yi, I'll have to trouble you to detoxify me now. Yi Chunfeng's words completely moved Mo Yuan. In the end, she chose to believe in Yi Chunfeng and eliminate the spy on the ship. Okay. Miss Mo, please turn your back to me. I will use silver needles to detoxify you. Yi Chunfeng said. Okay. Mo Yuan gently bit her alluring red lips and gently turned her body, allowing Yi Chunfeng to use the needles on her back to detoxify her. After about half an incense stick's worth of time, Yi Chunfeng removed the silver needles from Mo Yuan's back. Then, he let out a long sigh and said, okay, the poison in your body has been removed. Thank you. Mo Yuan repeatedly sensed her body and found that the poison in her body had really disappeared. She now had a trace of trust in Yi Chunfeng. Okay, you have a good rest. I will go back first. Tomorrow morning, we will carry out the plan to eliminate the spy. Chapter 184. From the looks of it, you should have convinced our great beauty Mo, right? Yu Nikhang, who was cultivating cross-legged on the bed, slightly opened her bright eyes. Seeing Yi Chunfeng return, she pursed her lips and smiled. Yi Chunfeng nodded. His mind was constantly thinking about how to get more benefits from helping Mo Yuan get rid of the spy. What's wrong? You're in a daze after coming back? Could it be that you've really fallen in love with her? Seeing Yi Chunfeng in deep thought, Mo Yuan asked. Yu Nikhang coldly said. Yi Chunfeng rolled his eyes at Yu Nikhang and said, I would rather fall in love with you than her. I'm just thinking about how we can get more benefits from her. Then you're saying that you've fallen in love with me? Yu Nichang's alluring red lips slightly curved as she deliberately asked. No. Yi Chunfeng said helplessly. Yi Chunfeng, I swear that I will definitely make you fall in love with me. Then, I will kick you away and make you regret it for the rest of your life. After saying that, Yu Nikhang laughed out loud. Seeing this, Yi Chunfeng felt a burning sensation. Alright, stop tempting me. Let's get down to business. Yi Chunfeng helplessly sighed and shifted his gaze away from Yu Nikhang. Do you want to break through to the Xian Beast Ancestor realm? You have a way. Yu Nichang's greatest wish was to break through to the Xian Beast Ancestor realm. Hearing Yi Chunfeng's words, her eyes immediately lit up. I want to help Mo Yuan get rid of the spy on the ship and negotiate with her. I want to go to 3-Star Island and help her take back control of the ancient Mo Merchant Alliance. From there, I can obtain more benefits. Yi Chunfeng said boldly. Chingfeng, isn't this too dangerous? Yu Nikhang frowned. Riches and honor are sought in danger. Which opportunity does not coexist with danger? If we fear danger everywhere, how can we pursue the supreme Tao? Yi Chunfeng retorted. Although Yi Chunfeng's tone was light and his face was expressionless, the unyielding determination in his eyes tugged at Yu Nichang's heartstrings. At this moment, she felt that Yi Chunfeng was extremely charming. Chingfeng, I finally know why you have such a great opportunity and great luck. You're right. Opportunities should be fought for, snatched, and not waited for. You make the decision. I'll listen to you. Yu Nikhang nodded. Her interest in Yi Chunfeng grew. Early in the morning, The bright and beautiful sunlight poured down and shone into the bedroom through the window, adding a trace of light to the originally dark room. After Yi Chunfeng left, the worried Mo Yuan tossed and turned, unable to fall asleep. Yi Chunfeng's words were like a curse that constantly flashed through her mind, filling her heart with worry. I hope I didn't misjudge you. You're worth trusting. Mo Yuan knew that she had no way out. Biting her alluring lips, she hurriedly changed her clothes and followed Yi Chunfeng's instructions. Using the excuse of discussing important matters, she gathered Elder Mei, Elder Hong, and the other important figures of the ship in the center of the cabin. Miss, why did you gather us so early in the morning? Elder Mei, who was holding a dragon-headed walking stick, looked at the expressionless Mo Yuan and asked. Let me say it. At this time, the tightly shut cabin door was pushed open. Yi Chunfeng and Yu Nikhang walked in. Yi Chunfeng's sharp eyes swept over everyone as he spoke. Who do you think you are? Since when did you have the right to speak here? Protector Yao, who had a grudge with Yi Chunfeng, coldly snorted and spoke with hostility. It was I who invited young Master Yi and Miss Yu. Mo Yuan looked at the two with a complicated gaze. She bit her lips and spoke. Moreover, her heart was inexplicably nervous when Yi Chunfeng appeared. Miss, why did you invite them here? Elder Hong, who was wearing a black robe with golden patterns, had snow-white hair and bright eyes, took a sip of tea and asked in a deep voice. Mo Yuan took a deep breath and spoke in a low voice. I invited young Master Yi here today for 2 reasons. First, to detoxify everyone. Second, to uncover the spy. Just as Mo Yuan's words fell, the cabin went into an uproar. Elder Mei and the others' expressions greatly changed as they quickly checked their bodies. Yi Chunfeng nodded and said, Miss Mo is right. Everyone is poisoned, and the person who poisoned us is hiding among us. Yi Chunfeng, I think that the spy is you. You were the one who poisoned us. Noticing the abnormality in his body, Protector Yao's expression became incomparably gloomy as he roared at Yi Chunfeng. I'm the spy? I poisoned you? Yi Chunfeng snorted and unceremoniously ridiculed. I have to say, your IQ is really low. Protector sure placed a sole restriction on me. Do you think I would dare to poison everyone on the ship? Also, I'm not related to you, so why would I harm you? What good is it for me? You, Mo Yuan glared at Protector Yao and coldly warned, All right, stop arguing. If anyone dares to be impudent, don't blame me for being impolite. Young Master Yi, please detoxify everyone. Okay. Yi Chunfeng nodded. He first walked behind Elder Mei and said, Elder Mei, I'll have to trouble you to stand up with your back facing me. Remove your defenses and I'll use my needles to detoxify you. Okay. Elder Mei's deep eyes shot out rays of light. She repeatedly looked at Yi Chunfeng before removing her soul power defenses and allowing Yi Chunfeng to insert needles into her back. After about half an incense stick of time, Yi Chunfeng removed the needles from Elder Mei's back. He let out a long sigh of relief and said, All right, the poison in Elder Mei's body has been removed. Thank you for the trouble. Elder Mei nodded when she felt that the poison in her body was truly gone. When Mo Yuan saw that Elder Mei was fine, her anxious heart calmed down. Elder Hong, it's your turn. Yi Chunfeng slowly walked behind Elder Hong and said, I'm not poisoned, so I won't trouble you to detoxify me. Elder Hong picked up the teacup on the side and took a sip before slowly speaking. Just as Elder Hong finished speaking, Mo Yuan's expression greatly changed. She looked at her right-hand woman in disbelief. She had always relied on Elder Hong, so she couldn't believe that she was a traitor. Elder Hong, may I ask why everyone was poisoned? Why are you fine? Yi Chunfeng's brows slightly furrowed as he looked at the arrogant Elder Hong and coldly asked, What? You suspect that I'm a spy? Elder Hong's pupils shrank as her eyes shot out rays of light. She looked at Yi Chunfeng and coldly asked, Extraordinary times call for extraordinary treatment. If my guess is correct, the pursuers are very close to us. During this period of caution, We can't let any suspicious person go. Yi Chenfeng ignored the threat in Elder Hong's eyes and softly asked, I wonder if I can check Elder Hong's spatial bag. What if I don't agree? Elder Hong's eyes flashed with killing intent as she resolutely said. Chapter 185. Haha, I'm a spy. I've followed the young miss for dozens of years and have always been loyal to her. How could I be a spy? Elder Hong coldly snorted, You're the one with an unknown origin. Wantonly trying to sow discord is very problematic. Whether I'm a spy or not, we'll know once we check the universe bag. If I wrongly accused you, I'm willing to accept any punishment. Yi Chenfeng aggressively said. Seeing the killing intent that flashed through Elder Hong's eyes and her resistance, Yi Chenfeng was 90% certain that there was a problem with Elder Hong's universe bag and that she was a spy. Young miss, even you don't believe me? Elder Hong asked in a low voice as she shifted her gaze to Mo Yuyan, whose face was slightly pale and whose eyes were flickering. Elder Hong, please let young Master Yi inspect the universe bag. Mo Yuyan tightly bit her rosy lips, her voice trembling slightly. She really didn't want to believe that Elder Hong was a spy. Forget it. I never thought that after risking my life for the young miss for so many years, I would end up in this situation. If the young miss wants to inspect it, then let her. After saying that, the gloomy Elder Hong let out a long sigh. She took out the universe bag from her waist and handed it over to Mo Yuyan. Young Miss Mo, be careful. The instant Mo Yuyan received the universe bag, Yi Chenfeng's sharp perception suddenly sensed a terrifying aura coming from Elder Hong's body. At the same time, he loudly warned her. Perfect sword intent surged out of his body and condensed into a sharp sword of light that slashed towards Elder Hong. However, Elder Hong was too close to Mo Yuyan and her attack was too sudden. Yi Chenfeng's perfect sword intent was simply unable to stop her. Just as the frightened Mo Yuyan was about to be seized by Elder Hong, an extremely fast golden light flashed behind Mo Yuyan. Elder Mei, who had just sensed something, promptly took action. She attacked Elder Hong with her dragon head walking staff. The powerful dragon head walking staff shattered Elder Hong's attack and forcibly forced her back. Hong Yun, the young miss has treated you well. Why did you betray her? Elder Mei stood behind the pale-faced Mo Yuyan. She glared angrily at Elder Hong, whose silver hair was fluttering in the wind and whose body was filled with a vicious aura. As for Protector Shi and the others, they all released their powerful auras and locked onto her. As long as she attacked again, Protector Shi and the others would attack together. Why? Elder Hong said painfully, my soul was restricted by Mo Feng Gu. If I don't agree to be his spy, they will torture me to death. In order to live, I have no other choice. Elder Mei, what should we do? Knowing Elder Hong's difficulties, Mo Yuyan hesitated. She really couldn't bear to kill Elder Hong. The spy must be eliminated or we will be in great danger. Although Elder Mei did not want to kill Elder Hong, she knew that she had no other choice. Leaving Elder Hong alive was equivalent to leaving behind a ticking time bomb. Elder Hong, if I can remove the soul restriction in your head, are you willing to betray Mo Feng Gu and come back? Just as Elder Mei was about to ruthlessly kill Elder Hong, Yi Chenfeng weighed the pros and cons and said in a low voice. What? Just as Yi Chenfeng finished speaking, Mo Yuyan, Elder Mei, Elder Hong, and the others all looked at him in disbelief. They knew how difficult it was to break a soul restriction. Moreover, everyone used different methods to place a soul restriction. Once the restriction was broken, that person would die without a doubt. Yi Chenfeng, you can really break my soul restriction? Elder Hong did not want to betray Mo Yuyan. She had also struggled and regretted it. But in the face of death, she became timid and had no choice but to betray Mo Yuyan. If you don't believe me, you can let Protector Shi sense our souls and see if there are any restrictions. Yi Chenfeng nodded and said, how did you do it? Protector Shi sensed for a moment and discovered that Yi Chenfeng's moon raiment soul was indeed free of the soul restriction. he revealed an extremely shocked expression. How did I do it? Please forgive me for keeping it a secret. Yi Chunfeng pretended to be mysterious and said, Elder Hong, if you believe me, then let me try. If you don't believe me, then I can't do anything. All right, I believe you. Elder Hong nodded and said, if he could break the soul restriction, then it would be the same as removing a knife hanging over her neck. Even if Yi Chunfeng failed, her fate would not change. Yi Chunfeng, please. Mo Yuyan said. She really did not want to lose Elder Hong. Moreover, she found that Yi Chunfeng was not simple. He was like a bottomless pit that no one could see through. And Yi Chunfeng nodded and walked behind Elder Hong. He pressed a hand on her head and controlled the soul-devouring brain to devour the restriction in her soul. This time, Elder Hong didn't resist or struggle. She allowed the strands of strange energy to enter her mind. After about an incense stick's worth of time, Yi Chunfeng withdrew the soul-devouring brain from Elder Hong's mind. He took a deep breath and said, all right, the soul restriction in Elder Hong's mind is gone. Yi Chunfeng, thank you. Thank you for giving me a chance to be reborn. Elder Hong repeatedly sensed the soul restriction in her mind. When she found that the restriction had really disappeared, she excitedly said, you don't need to thank me. If you want to thank someone, you should thank young Miss Mo. If she didn't give you a chance, even if I removed your soul restriction, it would have been useless. Yi Chunfeng deliberately gave Mo Yuyan a big favor. Young Miss, so it was all my fault. I ask young Miss to give me a chance to redeem myself. I am willing to live and die with young Mississippi. Elder Hong bowed and said, Elder Hong, this is a special time. For everyone's safety, I will have Elder May place another restriction in your soul. Are you willing? Mo Yuyan looked at Yi Chunfeng with gratitude and said, I am willing. Elder Hong knew that she had no other choice. She nodded and said without hesitation. After about half an incense stick's worth of time, Elder May placed an imprint in Elder Hong's soul and solved the big problem. Elder Hong, can you give me the antidote now and tell me who the other spies are? Mo Yuyan asked. Young Miss, Mo Feng Gu only gave me the poison, not the antidote. However, I can tell you who the other spies are. Elder Hong did not hide anything and told Mo Yuyan about all the spies on the ship. Protector Shi, Protector Qi, I will have to trouble you to eliminate the spies. If they are willing to turn over a new leaf and rely on me, I am willing to accept them. But if they are stubborn, then throw them into the sea to feed the fish. Mo Yuyan revealed her valiant side and said, Yes, young miss. Protector Shi and Protector Qi received the order. According to Elder Hong's information, they went to catch the spies on the ship. Young Master Yi, I will have to trouble you to detoxify everyone. Although Yi Chunfeng and Protector Shi had no restrictions in their minds, Mo Yuyan had complete trust in them. Even her tone was a lot more polite. Yes, but I can't cure his poison. Yi Chunfeng pointed at Protector Yao, who had an ugly expression on his face. Seeing Yi Chunfeng's playful eyes, Protector Yao almost exploded in anger. But in order to detoxify the poison, he could only grit his teeth and swallow his anger. He said in a pleading tone, Young Master Yi, it was all my fault. Please don't lower yourself to my level. As long as young Master Yi is willing to treat my injuries, I can agree to any request of young Master Yi. Really? Any request? Yi Chunfeng's lips curled up as he asked playfully. And any request? Protector Yao clenched his teeth and said. He regretted offending Yi Chunfeng and helplessly waited for his blackmail. Good. Give me 100,000 mid-grade soul crystals and 2 earth-grade soul cores and I will save you. Yi Chunfeng demanded an exorbitant price. Chapter 186. Qingfeng, I reckon that Protector Yao will have to make a detour when he sees us in the future. After returning to the cabin, Eunuch Hang was in a good mood. She revealed a charming smile as she looked at Yi Chunfeng. If it weren't for the fact that he still had some value, I wouldn't have bothered to save him. Yi Chunfeng lightly said. Although Yi Chunfeng was exhausted from detoxifying everyone, when he thought of how Protector Yao had nearly vomited blood after extorting him, Yi Chunfeng couldn't help but smile. After some haggling, Yi Chunfeng extorted 70,000 mid-grade soul crystals from Protector Yao, an earth-grade soul core, and several valuable heaven and earth spirit grasses. As for Mo Yuyan, in order to thank him, she gave him 100,000 mid-grade soul crystals, 3 earth-grade soul cores, and over 10 precious heaven and earth spirit grasses. Now Yi Chunfeng had 170,000 mid-grade soul crystals on him. This was enough to support the sword puppet's attack for a long time. Just as Mo Yuyan thought that the crisis had been resolved in a short period of time and was preparing to change the course of the ship to escape the pursuit, Protector Shi and Protector Qi encountered an accident while they were eradicating the spies. The 2 spies caught the ship off guard and detonated the signal beads in their spatial bag. A thick red smoke exploded in the air above the ship, sending a signal to another ship several dozen miles away. "Miss, there's a ship rapidly approaching 20 nautical miles away. It seems to be a Black Devil ship." An ancient Ink Commerce Alliance disciple on the observation deck immediately reported to Mo Yuyan. "Damn, they're so fast." Mo Yuyan didn't expect that as soon as one wave passed, another wave would rise. Just as she eliminated the spies on the ship, a true crisis would descend. Thinking of how ferocious and terrifying the Black Devils were and the consequences of being surrounded by them, Mo Yuyan couldn't help but feel nervous. "Full speed ahead. We must lose them." Standing on the deck, Mo Yuyan commanded as she looked at the ship in the distance. Unfortunately, when the ancient Ink Commerce Alliance ship broke through the monster beast horde, its hull was damaged and its speed was affected. Slowly, the Black Devil ship closed the distance. "Elder May, what should we do? How can we escape from the Black Devil's pursuit?" Standing on the deck, Mo Yuyan watched as the Black Devil Seaborn approached. She anxiously asked the nearby Elder May. "Unless we encounter special weather conditions, it will be very difficult to shake them off," Elder May said in a low voice with a solemn expression. "What? Has the enemy appeared?" Just as Mo Yuyan was feeling restless, Yi Chunfeng appeared on the deck and asked in a low voice as he gazed at the approaching ship from afar. Mo Yuyan looked at Yi Chunfeng's chiseled face and bit her lips, and, "It's just as young Master Yi guessed. The people chasing us have appeared. Do you want to escape from their pursuit?" Yi Chunfeng asked indifferently. "Young Master Yi, do you have a way to help us escape?" Mo Yuyan's eyes lit up as she excitedly asked. "As long as there are no peerless emperors among your pursuers, I can help you destroy them." Yi Chunfeng nodded and said, "What?" Hearing Yi Chunfeng's so-called method, not only was Mo Yuyan dumbfounded, but even the usually calm Elder May was shocked. She looked at him as if she was looking at a monster. "What? You don't believe I have this kind of strength?" Yi Chunfeng said with a faint smile as he looked at the dumbfounded Mo Yuyan and Xiao Chen, whose eyes were filled with doubt. "Young Master Yi, although there are no peerless emperors among the Black Devil experts chasing us, there should be profound beast sect experts overseeing them. As for your strength..." Mo Yuyan felt as if she didn't recognize Yi Chunfeng anymore and incredulously reminded him. "As I said, as long as there are no peerless emperors among them, I can help you destroy that ship. However, I won't do it for free," Yi Chunfeng said without hesitation. "Young Master Yi, what do you want? As long as we can afford it, we will definitely give it to you." Elder May looked at Yi Chunfeng's grave expression and felt that he wasn't joking. She felt that he was becoming more and more mysterious. "I wonder if you have any high-grade soul crystals?" Although Yi Chunfeng had 170,000 mid-grade soul crystals, which was enough to support the sword puppet's attacks for a long time, the soul energy contained in mid-grade soul crystals wasn't pure enough. No matter how many he fused with, the sword puppet could only reach the limit of a Class 5 profound beast sect expert. In order to increase the sword puppet's strength and increase his life-saving means, Yi Chunfeng wanted to ask Mo Yuyan for a high-grade soul crystal. I'm sorry, young Master Yi, but we don't have any high-grade soul crystals. However, we do have a devil crystal bone that is even more precious. Would you be interested? Thinking of her situation, Mo Yuyan clenched her teeth and looked straight into Yi Chunfeng's clear eyes. Young miss, when Elder Mei heard that Mo Yuyan wanted to use a devil crystal bone to ask Yi Chunfeng for help, her expression changed and she shouted, Elder Mei, we have no other choice. With our strength, we can't resist the Black Demon's pursuit. Once they catch up to us, we will be doomed. Compared to our lives, the devil crystal bone is nothing. Mo Yuyan interrupted Elder Mei's words and said, as if she was betting. Devil crystal bone, what is that? This was the first time Yi Chunfeng heard of the devil crystal bone. However, when he saw Elder Mei's distressed expression, he guessed that the devil crystal bone should be very precious. The devil crystal bone is a kind of energy crystal that contains a terrifying demonic energy. The energy it contains is far from what a high-grade soul crystal can compare to. After saying that, Mo Yuyan took out a metal box from her spatial bag. It was sealed with a large number of runes. When she undid the runes on the box, a powerful demonic energy leaked out of the box. What a terrifying demonic energy! Inside the metal box was a pitch-black bone-shaped crystal that contained a vast amount of energy. Yi Chunfeng raised his eyebrows. Huge waves were set off in his heart, and his eyes burned with desire. He hadn't expected the energy contained within the devil crystal bone to be so terrifying. If he could obtain it and refine it, he would most likely be able to reach the small success stage of the bone forging realm. Young Miss Mo, how many of these devil crystal bones do you have? Yi Chunfeng was completely moved by this devil crystal bone. I only have one on me right now. However, my ancient ink merchant alliance still has 2 more, said Mo Yuyan deliberately. Young Miss Mo wants me to help you take back the ancient ink merchant alliance? Yi Chunfeng's lips curled up. Does young Master Yi have the strength to do so? If you do, I can guarantee that I will give both of those devil crystal bones to young Master. Mo Yuyan looked straight at Yi Chunfeng. Wait for me to help you destroy that ship. Then we can discuss this matter in detail. Yi Chunfeng didn't immediately agree. After all, if he didn't display his superhuman strength, he wouldn't be able to move Mo Yuyan. All right, this devil crystal bone is young Master Yi's now. Mo Yuyan nodded and gave the devil crystal bone to Yi Chunfeng without any hesitation. That's right, young Master Yi. This devil crystal bone contains a terrifying demonic energy. You can't directly refine it, or you will lose your life. Mo Yuyan was afraid that Yi Chunfeng didn't know how terrifying the devil crystal bone was and would directly refine it. Many thanks for the warning. I will be careful. Yi Chunfeng nodded. Young Miss Mo, I will go help you destroy that ship. If my wife wakes up from her cultivation, tell her to obediently wait for me on the ship. Chapter 187. Young Miss, do you really believe that he can destroy the Dark Devil Seacraft by himself? Not to mention that there might be profound beast sect experts on the ship, just the dozens of heavenly beast immortal experts are enough to destroy him. Although Yi Chunfeng was like a cloud of fog that made people unable to fathom him, and his methods made them fearful, Yi Chunfeng was only a second-tier heavenly beast immortal. Elder Mei simply didn't believe that he had the strength to destroy the Dark Devil Seacraft, and was somewhat distressed about the Devil Crystal Bone. Elder Mei, we can only choose to believe in him at this time. Mo Yuyan tightly bit her lips, her eyes flickering with a complicated look, as she spoke in a firm tone. Sigh, let's hope that he can create a miracle or delay the Dark Devil Seacraft's pursuit. Thinking of her situation, Elder Mei knew that she really had no other choice. When Yi Chunfeng was about 10 miles away from the Dark Devil Seacraft, he stopped swimming and summoned the sword puppet. As long as there wasn't a peerless king overseeing the ship, the sword puppet's indestructible defense, and the attack of a 5th-tier profound beast ancestor wouldn't be afraid even if it encountered a 6th-tier profound beast ancestor. Sword puppet fuse. With a thought, Yi Chunfeng fused all 150,000 mid-grade soul crystals into his body. After fusing with 150,000 mid-grade soul crystals, the sword puppet's body erupted with a terrifying sword aura, causing the ice-cold seawater to violently churn and a huge whirlpool to appear on the surface of the sea. What's going on? What's in the sea? A middle-aged man stood on the deck of the ship. He was wearing a black robe with a skull embroidered on his shoulder. His hair was snow-white, and his eyes were sunken deep, giving off an extremely dangerous feeling. He suddenly discovered a huge whirlpool in the sea ahead, and immediately ordered someone to check it out. This black-robed man was the White Demon General of the Black Devil Assassin Organization, a first-tier profound beast sect expert. Reporting to Sir Devil General, this whirlpool suddenly appeared in the sea. I think there might be some abnormalities in the sea. The Black Devil expert on the observation deck reported. Abnormalities? Could it be the ancient Ink Merchant Alliance's doing? The White Demon frowned slightly, but he did not take it seriously. He ordered coldly, "Don't slow down. Crush them." 8 Cs, 5 Cs, 3 Cs, just as the speeding Black Demon oceanic ship broke through the ocean whirlpool formed by the sword puppet, a sword ray that caused heaven and earth to change color pierced through the rippling surface of the ocean, piercing straight into the dome of heaven. The dazzling sword light was like a dazzling radiance, so dazzling that people couldn't open their eyes. Not good. There are experts in the sea. Everyone, including the White Demon, felt suffocated and terrified when they felt the terrifying sword aura released by the sword puppet. A sound like muffled thunder exploded in the turbulent sea. The sword light that pierced through the sea quickly condensed into a light sword that was dozens of meters long. It split the sky and carried a powerful destructive force as it slashed at the ship. Although the Darkfiend ocean ship was made of special materials and was impregnable, the sword puppet's sword of light forcefully split open a gap in the ship's bow. The terrifying impact formed a terrifying shockwave that violently exploded at the ship's bow. The powerful sword aura shook many Darkfiend experts on the ship and forced them to retreat. Some of them were seriously injured and vomited blood as they fell to the ground in pain. What a terrifying sword aura! Was that sword aura really released by Yi Chunfeng? What realm is he at? Although they were far away, Elder May and the others could still vaguely feel the might of that sword light. Elder May had no doubt that if that sword light had slashed at her, she wouldn't have been able to block it even if she used all her strength. Just how many secrets is this Yi Chunfeng hiding? Elder May sucked in a breath of cold air. She felt that she could no longer see through Yi Chunfeng. However, at this moment, she believed that Yi Chunfeng had the strength to destroy the Darkfiend ocean ship. Young miss, perhaps you really made the right bet. This Yi Chunfeng should have the strength to help us take back the ancient Ink Merchant Union. Elder May took a deep breath and suppressed the shock in her heart. She looked at the dazed Moyuyen and said in a low voice, "Elder May, quickly stop the ship. We will wait here for young Master Ye's return." Moyuyen, who recovered from her shock, quickly said. However, her beautiful eyes were staring at the sea dozens of miles away, waiting for Yi Chunfeng to reveal an even more terrifying strength. Who is it? Who is it in the sea? Looking at the huge sword mark on the ship's bow and feeling the sword might in the air, White Demon's heart was in turmoil. He looked at the violently tumbling sea with some fear. The Darkfiend ocean ship also stopped. Bang! A towering pillar of water exploded on the sea's surface. Yi Chunfeng was like a sword of light as he soared into the sky from the explosion. He directly leaped over the huge ship that was dozens of meters high and steadily landed on the deck. A second-rank heavenly beast immortal. When White Demon saw the cold expression on Yi Chunfeng's face, his eyes were filled with fear. However, when he sensed Yi Qinfeng's strength, his fear immediately turned into shock. He really didn't dare to imagine that the sword ray that caused the world to change and made him feel fear was released by Yi Qinfeng. "Who are you? Why are you innocently attacking my ship?" White Demon asked with a gloomy expression. His deep eyes were constantly sizing up the young Yi Qinfeng, but he didn't immediately make a move to capture him. "You don't need to know my identity. You only need to know that I'm here to kill you all." Yi Qinfeng was like an unsheathed sword, his clothes fluttering in the wind as he spoke with cold, killing intent. Hearing Yi Qinfeng's intention, White Demon couldn't help but show a trace of vigilance. If he didn't have something to rely on, a second-rank heavenly beast immortal like Yi Qinfeng wouldn't dare to be so arrogant and domineering. "Go, the two of you go and test his strength." While being cautious, White Demon ordered two fifth-rank heavenly beast immortals to test Yi Qinfeng's true strength. Yes. The two fifth-rank heavenly beast immortals of the Black Demon clan took a deep breath and fused with their spiritual beasts to increase their strength. Then, they attacked Yi Qinfeng from both sides. Sword puppet kill. Yi Qinfeng, who had yet to recover from his serious injuries, didn't try to be brave. When the two fifth-rank heavenly beast immortals were close to him, he summoned the sword puppet. Chi-chi, two extremely fast sword rays flashed before the eyes of the two men. The sword rays directly cut through their bodies like a hot knife through butter, cutting off half of their bodies. Blood sprayed out from their bodies like a fountain. The next moment, Yi Qinfeng, who was using the shifting phantom technique, appeared beside the two men's bodies. He operated the soul-devouring art and devoured their spiritual beasts that were about to dissipate. A fifth-rank heavenly beast grandmaster doppelganger. Feeling the aura of the sword puppet, White Demon's heart fell to the bottom. He couldn't imagine that Yi Qinfeng, who was only a second-rank heavenly beast immortal, could have a fifth-rank heavenly beast grandmaster doppelganger. What kind of background did he have? Who are you?" White Demon looked at Yi Qinfeng with a pale face and asked with some fear. If it weren't for the fact that he had nowhere to run in the vast sea, he would have abandoned his men and fled alone. "Didn't I just say that I'm the one who's going to kill you?" Yi Qinfeng showed a cruel smile and said ruthlessly. Chapter 188. Blood Demon Spear. The sword spirit puppet charged at him with murderous intent. Unable to dodge, the White Demon made up his mind. While fusing with his spirit beast, he took out the Blood Demon Spear, a high-grade earth-grade weapon, and stabbed it at the sword spirit puppet. Under the threat of death, the power of General White's spear reached its peak. The spear light streaked across the space, emitting a sharp and terrifying whistling sound as it tore a crack in the air. Facing General White's spear in its peak state, the sword puppet didn't dodge and allowed the spear to stab into its chest. "I got it!" The moment the Blood Demon's spear stabbed into the sword puppet's chest, General White felt that it was unreal. He couldn't believe that his spear had really stabbed into the sword puppet's chest. Before he could rejoice, the tip of the Blood Demon's spear surged with flames, and a strong repulsive force passed through the Blood Demon's spear into his arm. The strong repulsive force shook him so much that he almost lost his grip on the Blood Demon's spear, making him feel as if he was stabbing into black iron. What? Has his doppelganger reached the level of a celestial item? Feeling the vibrating force from the Blood Demon's spear, General White turned pale with fright. He finally understood why the sword puppet didn't dodge his attack. His attack couldn't break its body at all. Chi! While General White was terrified, he used his body to block the spear's attack. The sword puppet made its move. A sharp sword light burst out from its 5 fingers and broke through General White's defense at a speed that was difficult to be seen with the naked eye. His body was severely injured, and his blood stained his clothes. "Wait. As long as you don't kill me, I'm willing to agree to all your conditions." General White's heart fell to the bottom after being severely injured by the sword puppet in an instant. He could smell the breath of death and shouted loudly. You're not qualified to negotiate with me. Yi Chunfeng had learned about the Black Demon Assassin organization from Moyin. He hated the notorious, cruel, and ruthless Black Demon very much. Whoosh! As soon as Yi Chunfeng finished speaking, the sword puppet formed a sword with its hand and slashed at the void. A sharp sword light slashed down from the void, splitting the air in half as it cut through everything in its path. Blood Demon's Spear, defend with all your might. Facing this unstoppable sword, the White Demon gritted his teeth and burned all the soul power in his body. He raised the Blood Demon's Spear above his head to block this sword. Boom! The terrifying sword light slashed the Blood Demon's spear, and suddenly, boundless energy surged out. The surging shockwave shook the Blood Demon's spear and bent it. General White Demon's arms, which were holding the Blood Demon's spear tightly, could not withstand the huge pressure and kept exploding into pieces of flesh. Gotcha! Under the pressure of the sword puppet's sword, the White Demon's legs gave way, and he fell to his knees. When his knees shattered, the hard deck cracked as well. No, don't kill me. White Demon General had killed countless people in his life, but when he was faced with death, he was scared. He didn't care about the blood crazily gushing out from his mouth, loudly begging for mercy. TSK. The sword puppet ignored the White Demon General's begging. A sharp sword light slashed across and penetrated the White Demon General's heart meridian, crippling his cultivation. Soul-devouring art, devour. The moment the White Demon General was crippled, Yi Chunfeng used Transfiguration Phantom and appeared behind him like a ghost. He pressed his palm heavily on the White Demon General's head and crazily devoured his soul beast that was about to dissipate. The White Demon General was a Class 1 Mystic Beast Sect expert, and his soul beast was abnormally strong. When Yi Chunfeng devoured his soul beast, a large amount of pure soul power poured into his body. In just 3 breaths, Yi Chunfeng's soul power was overflowing, and his overdrawn injuries were rapidly recovering. Realm suppression. In order to make his cultivation foundation unbreakable, Yi Chunfeng used the power of the Chaos Divine Wood to suppress his realm. While devouring the White Demon General's soul beast, he forcibly suppressed his overflowing soul power and merged it into his body. After about 10 breaths, the White Demon General's soul beast was devoured by Yi Chunfeng, and he could no longer suppress his overflowing soul power. A powerful force burst out from his body, and he naturally broke through to the Class 3 Heavenly Beast Immortal Realm. And this time, Yi Chunfeng suppressed his soul power to the limit. The moment he broke through, not only did he instantly consolidate his realm, but the soul power in his body also far exceeded that of experts of the same realm. Sword puppet kill. After breaking through, Yi Chunfeng's cold eyes glanced at the frightened Black Demon assassins and continued to give orders to the sword puppet. A massacre without any suspense unfolded. A large number of Black Demon assassins were severely injured by the sword puppet's destructive attacks, and their soul beasts were devoured by Yi Chunfeng, who followed closely behind and transformed into pure soul power that merged into his body. Jump into the sea. Looking at the scattered corpses on the deck and smelling the thick stench of blood in the air, the Black Demon assassins were terrified. They all jumped into the cold sea and fled with all their might, wanting to leave this place of slaughter as soon as possible. Soon, the huge ship was empty. The frightened Black Demon assassins all jumped into the sea to escape. Elder May, did you see that? Those people are jumping into the sea. Moyin, who was constantly praying in her heart, suddenly saw a large number of Black Demon assassins jump into the sea. She let out a long sigh of relief and revealed a look of pleasant surprise. She grabbed Elder May's arm tightly and said excitedly, "Young Master Yi really did it. With his help, I can really take revenge and take back the ancient Ink Merchant Alliance. I hope he's sincerely helping us. Otherwise, I'm afraid we'll be inviting a wolf into our house." Elder May and the others didn't know about the existence of the sword puppet. While they were shocked by Yi Chunfeng's combat strength, they were also deeply worried. After all, Yi Chunfeng's strength was completely beyond their control. If Yi Chunfeng had any ill intentions towards them, they wouldn't be able to resist at all. Thinking about Yi Chunfeng's shocking strength and methods, Mo Yuan whispered, "Elder Mei, do you think young Master Yi will covet our ancient ink merchant alliance with his strength and potential? Perhaps I'm thinking too much." Elder Mei nodded and said, "However, if that Yi Chunfeng doesn't have a wife, it'll be good. If we tie him to our ancient ink merchant alliance, it won't take more than a few years for our ancient ink merchant alliance to become the undisputed overlord of Three-Star Island." Tie him to the ancient ink merchant alliance. Mo Yuan's heart was moved. As she thought about it, 2 alluring blushes appeared on her delicate cheeks. Her heart was moved. After devouring the spiritual beasts of more than 10 heavenly beast immortal experts, the soul power in Yi Chunfeng's body skyrocketed once again. However, he didn't use the boundless soul power in his body to forcefully break through to the rank 4 heavenly beast immortal realm. Instead, he continued to consolidate his cultivation foundation and increase his physical strength. After roughly an hour, Yi Chunfeng, who was circulating the soul-devouring art at high speed, completely refined the soul power in his body and fused it with his body. It's time to break through to the bone-tempering realm. The reason why Yi Chunfeng was constantly consolidating his cultivation foundation was to build a foundation for breaking through to the bone-tempering realm. Now that the time was ripe, Yi Chunfeng took out the devil crystal bone that was sealed with a large number of array patterns. Chapter 189. I hope the god-devouring brain can absorb the demonic nature of this devil crystal bone. Yi Chunfeng undid the restrictions on the surface of the devil crystal bone. Immediately, a boundless demonic nature was released from the devil crystal bone, converging into a large amount of black light that enveloped him. What is young Master Yi doing? Is he absorbing the devil crystal bone? After the dust settled, Mo Yuan immediately ordered the ship to return to Yi Chunfeng. But when they approached the Black Devil ship, they discovered that a large amount of black light had spread out, dyeing the entire void black. This Yi Chunfeng is too daring. He actually did not listen to our advice and directly refined the demon crystal bone. Elder Mei sighed softly and said with a bitter smile, "Elder Mei, we should hurry and stop him. If the demonic nature of the devil crystal bone corrodes his mind, he will die," Mo Yuan said with a nervous expression. Mo Yuan said nervously, "If Yi Chunfeng had an accident while refining the magic crystal bone, then all of her hopes would be destroyed. It's too late. The demonic nature of the devil crystal bone has already been released. We can't suppress it. Right now, we can only pray that he can continue to create miracles." Elder Mei saw that the demonic energy released by the devil crystal bone had enveloped nearly a mile of the sea. The entire space was filled with demonic energy, and it was as black as ink. They didn't dare to approach, and could only wait in the distance. Devil crystal bone, refine. A hair-raising ghostly cry resounded in his ears. Looking at the black demonic energy that filled the sky, Yi Chunfeng didn't pay it any attention. He pressed the restless devil crystal bone into his palm and began to use the soul-devouring art to absorb it. Waves of boundless soul power flowed through his arms and surged into his body. In an instant, the meridians in his body were stretched open, and a tearing pain was produced. 6 Meridian Divine Shield, Bone Forging. Enduring the tearing pain in his meridians, Yi Chunfeng followed the 6 Meridian Divine Shield's tempering method. The energy of the devil crystal bone penetrated his flesh and forcefully fused into his bones, undergoing a deep tempering. Whoa! As Yi Chunfeng swallowed the demon crystal bones to forge his bones, an extremely penetrating roar exploded in Yi Chunfeng's ears. This roar was like a thunderclap from the highest heavens, shaking Yi Chunfeng's soul and causing his eardrums to hurt. What is this? Yi Chunfeng suddenly opened his eyes. To his surprise, he discovered that the black demonic energy released by the demonic crystal bone had converged into a malevolent demonic face. An enormous and terrifying soul power was surging towards him from all directions. Demonic nature. This is the demonic nature contained within the demonic crystal bone. Yi Chunfeng's pupils shrank as he looked at the demonic face formed by the surging demonic nature. He was horrified. He didn't think that the demonic nature contained within the demon crystal bone would be so terrifying that it could transform into a demonic face. Demonic face. The demonic nature of the demonic crystal bone has been completely released. Elder Mei, do you think young Master Yi can resist the corrosion of the demonic qi? Looking at the demonic face formed by the surging demonic qi, Mo Yuyen's heart clenched as she nervously asked Elder Mei beside her. The demonic nature contained within the demon crystal bone is terrifying. If he wants to refine it, he must consume a spiritual item that suppresses the demonic nature at the same time and slowly absorb it. If he were to directly refine it and release all the demonic nature of the demon crystal bone, even an expert of the profound beast sect wouldn't be able to withstand it. However, this Yi Chunfeng is full of mysteries. Perhaps he has a way to resist the demonic nature's corrosion. Elder Mei said in a low voice with a grim expression. I hope so. He's our only hope. Nothing can happen to him. Mo Yuyen clasped her hands together and silently prayed for Yi Chunfeng. The demonic face opened its tightly shut eyes. A boundless roar resounded through the heavens and earth. The terrifying sound wave was like a tsunami as it bombarded Yi Chunfeng. Being attacked by this terrifying demonic sound, Yi Chunfeng felt as if his soul sea had been shattered. It was filled with cracks, and a large amount of blood flowed out from his 7 orifices. Perfect sword aura slash. Yi Chunfeng endured the intense pain in his soul. Perfect sword aura gushed out of his body and gathered above his head to form a 10-meter-long sword of light. The sword cut through the demonic qi that filled the sky and slashed towards the demonic face. Facing the perfect sword aura attack, the demonic face opened its bloody mouth and spat out a large amount of black light. It attacked the sword of light and blocked it. Blood Dragon attack. Yi Chunfeng saw the demonic face resist the perfect sword aura attack. His spiritual beast, the Blood Dragon, emerged from his body and let out a terrifying dragon roar that shook the 4 seas. Dragon. That Yi Chunfeng's spiritual beast is a dragon. Moreover, it's a mutated dragon. In the distance, Mo Yuyen, Elder Mei, and the others were completely shocked when they saw the blood dragon that soared into the sky. It was hundreds of meters long and had blood-red dragon scales that illuminated the heavens. What is this Yi Chunfeng's identity? What kind of bloodline flows in his body? His spiritual beast actually gave birth to a divine beast dragon. A shocked expression began to appear on Elder Mei's old face. In the end, it completely filled her face. She took several deep breaths and couldn't suppress the shock in her heart. Bloodline? Mo Yuyen knew that bloodlines could be passed down to the next generation. As she thought of the mysteries surrounding Yi Chunfeng, her eyes shone with a thoughtful light. Under the dual attacks of the blood dragon and perfect sword aura, the demonic face's resistance grew weaker and weaker. In the end, the demonic face was broken through by the blood dragon and turned into a black light that filled the sky. But in the next moment, endless black light poured into Yi Chunfeng's mind like a tide. It wanted to directly destroy his soul and kill him. The immense pain caused Yi Chunfeng to have a splitting headache. It was as if tens of thousands of silver needles were piercing his soul. His entire head felt like it was about to explode. In addition to the physical pain caused by swallowing the demon crystal bone, the pain caused him to grit his teeth so hard that they almost broke. An ordinary person would have fainted long ago after suffering the double torture of their body and soul. However, Yi Chunfeng's mind was extremely firm. As he circulated the soul-devouring art over and over again to swallow the demon crystal bone, he controlled the God-Eater brain to restrain the demonic nature that was pouring into his soul. However, the demonic nature contained within the demon crystal bone was too terrifying. In just a few breaths of time, the demonic nature had attacked him hundreds of times, destroying his soul beyond recognition. Even with his firm will, he couldn't hold on any longer. God-Eater brain, refine the demonic nature. Yi Chenfeng tightly clenched his bleeding teeth. He controlled the God-Eater brain to forcibly swallow and refine the demonic nature in his mind, slowly wearing down the demonic nature's power. Time passed minute by minute. Yi Chenfeng's 7 orifices had long been dyed red with blood. If it weren't for his blood essence being far stronger than an ordinary person's, he would have already died from blood loss. After a long and painful process, the God-Eater brain finally suppressed the surging demonic nature in his soul and quickly swallowed the demonic nature. As the God-Eater brain swallowed more and more demonic nature, it formed a large number of new brain cells that were full of vitality. There were faint signs that it was going to split into a second subbrain, which made Yi Chenfeng overjoyed. If the God-Eater brain could split into a second subbrain, then he could use this subbrain to control a top-notch expert and be his free fighter. About 2 hours later, the violent demonic nature was completely swallowed by the God-Eater brain. The black demonic chi that dyed the sky black also disappeared. Bone forging. After the God-Eater brain swallowed and refined all the demonic nature of the demon crystal bone, Yi Chenfeng ignored the injuries to his soul and circulated the 6-meridian divine shield with all his strength, compressing the power of the demon crystal bone into his bones and tempering them. Although the bone forging process was still very painful after experiencing the inhuman torment just now, he could completely endure the pure physical pain. After another hour or so, the energy contained in the demon bone crystal had completely been refined into his bones, making them even tougher and more durable. Chapter 190. Small success of bone forging, 150,000 genes of strength. Feeling the sudden increase in his physical strength, Yi Chenfeng's pale face revealed a satisfied smile. Although the 6-meridian divine shield required more and more energy to cultivate, and the difficulty of cultivating it increased, the effect was very obvious. Yi Chenfeng had only cultivated to the small success stage of bone forging, but his physical strength had increased by 50,000 genes. If he cultivated to the great circle of bone forging, Yi Chenfeng felt that his physical strength would reach 50,000 genes. With just his physical strength, he would be able to kill a 6th-rank heavenly beast immortal expert. More importantly, his physical body's recovery ability had greatly increased. Ordinary physical injuries could be healed in an instant. I must obtain the ancient Ink Merchant Alliance's 2 devil crystal bones. With them, I might be able to cultivate to 80 or 90% of the bone forging realm, muttered Yi Chenfeng. He was determined to obtain the 2 devil crystal bones stored in the ancient Ink Merchant Alliance's treasury. After cultivating to the small success stage of bone forging, Yi Chenfeng placed the sword puppet into his cosmos bag. Then he plundered the White Devil General and the others' belongings. Sitting cross-legged on the ship that reeked of blood, Yi Chenfeng began to heal his soul and physical injuries. At this time, under Mo Yuyen's orders, the ancient Ink Merchant Alliance's ship quickly approached. But when they saw Yi Chenfeng recuperating on the blood-soaked deck, not a single one of them dared to disturb him. They patiently waited. A 3rd-rank heavenly beast immortal. Young Master Yi refined such a large devil crystal bone and only managed to break through 1 rank? Sensing Yi Chenfeng's cultivation, Mo Yuyen was deeply puzzled. With her understanding of devil crystal bones, an egg-sized devil crystal bone was enough to allow a heavenly beast immortal expert to break through 2 or 3 rank. I think it's because Yi Chenfeng's physique is rather special. Every time he breaks through, he squeezes his body's potential to the limit. The advantage of this is that his cultivation foundation is unbreakable, but the amount of energy required is several times that of an ordinary person. That's why such a large magic crystal bone only allowed him to break through by 1 level. The knowledgeable elder may analyze. Hearing Elder May's words, looking at the corpses scattered on the deck, as well as Yi Chunfeng, who was covered in blood like a demon from hell, Protector Yao, who had a grudge against him, was so scared that his face turned pale. His legs cramped, and cold sweat broke out on his forehead. His heart was filled with regret. He was afraid that Yi Chunfeng would settle the score with him and cause trouble for him. While Elder May and Mo Yuyan were talking, Yi Chunfeng used his powerful recovery abilities to recover from his injuries and woke up. I wonder, with my current strength, can I defeat an ordinary level 6 heavenly beast immortal without using the life spirit technique? Yi Chunfeng opened his tightly shut eyes and muttered to himself. He couldn't wait to test his strength. However, he knew that now wasn't the time to test his strength. He had more important things to do, and that was to negotiate with Mo Yuyan and return to the ancient Ink Merchant Alliance to get the 2 magic crystal bones. Young Master Yi, we will never forget the kindness you have shown us. Please accept our bow. When Yi Chunfeng returned to the ancient Ink Merchant Alliance's ship, Mo Yuyan and Elder May were grateful from the bottom of their hearts and bowed deeply to him. Miss Mo, Elder May, you don't have to be so polite. I've received my reward, so I naturally have to do things for you. Yi Chunfeng smiled faintly and asked, Now, can we talk about our cooperation? Of course. We now fully believe that young Master Yi has the ability to help us take back the ancient Ink Merchant Alliance. Elder May nodded and said, Young Master Yi, Elder May, let's go to the central cabin to talk. Mo Yuyan smiled and suggested, All right. Yi Chunfeng nodded and followed Mo Yuyan and Elder May to the central cabin. Young Master Yi, I know that you won't help us take back the ancient Ink Merchant Alliance for free. Other than the 2 magic crystal bones, what else do you want? As long as our ancient Ink Merchant Alliance has it, we will definitely give it to you. Mo Yuyan, who was wearing an emerald green dress and had a tall figure, asked generously as she ordered someone to pour a cup of tea for Yi Chunfeng. Miss Mo, I need high-grade soul crystals. I wonder if your ancient Ink Merchant Alliance has any? Yi Chunfeng asked. Mo Yuyan shook her head and said, Young Master Yi, high-grade soul crystals are too rare and precious. Our ancient Ink Merchant Alliance doesn't have any. What about other things? Then can you tell me where the magic crystal bones came from? Yi Chunfeng pondered for a moment and asked. The origin of the magic crystal bones, involved the secret of the ancient Ink Merchant Alliance. Hearing Yi Chunfeng's question, Mo Yuyan and Elder May looked at each other and hesitated. What's wrong? Is it not convenient to tell me where the magic crystal bones came from? Seeing Mo Yuyan's troubled appearance, Yi Chunfeng frowned slightly. He vaguely guessed that the magic crystal bones were very likely related to the mysterious key. To be honest, the magic crystal bones are the greatest secret of our ancient Ink Merchant Alliance. However, young Master Yi is our savior, so we are willing to share this secret with young Master Yi. Mo Yuyan bit her moist lips and raised her head slightly to look straight into Yi Chunfeng's eyes. Don't worry, I won't speak carelessly about your ancient Ink Merchant Alliance's secret. Yi Chunfeng nodded and promised. The magic crystal bones were obtained by an ancestor of our ancient Ink Merchant Alliance from the outskirts of the underwater cave. Mo Yuyan gave a simple explanation of the magic crystal bones' origins to Yi Chunfeng. Opening the underwater cave requires 3 keys. These 3 keys are held by our ancient Ink Merchant Alliance, as well as the other 2 merchant alliances of 3-Star Island, the Celestial Star Merchant Alliance and the Solitary Cloud Merchant Alliance. The ancestors of our 3 clans agreed that every 100 years, the 3 clans would work together to open the underwater cave and enter together to search for treasures. Due to the restrictions of the underwater cave, our 3 clans could only send a maximum of 30 experts into the cave each time. However, due to our limited strength, in the past 1,000 years, our 3 merchant alliances have never been able to break through the restrictions of the cave. We don't know what is inside the cave. Underwater cave. Yi Chunfeng raised his eyebrows. He didn't think that the key in Emoyuyen's hands would be related to a mysterious underwater cave. He was deeply interested in this underwater cave. Young Miss Emo, how much time is left until the 100-year agreement? 33 years. 33 years? That long? Yi Chunfeng frowned slightly. After pondering for a moment, he asked, "Then can't we enter the underwater cave in advance?" According to my father, the opening time of the underwater cave is only an agreement between our 3 merchant alliances. It has nothing to do with the cave itself. However, if we want to open the underwater cave, we must gather all 3 keys. Not a single one can be missing. Therefore, if young Master Yi wants to enter the underwater cave, you must obtain the keys of the other 2 merchant alliances. Emoyuyen cleverly said. I wonder how the other 2 merchant alliances are doing. Yi Chunfeng understood the meaning behind Emoyuyen's words. She wanted to use him to deal a heavy blow to the other 2 merchant alliances. However, Yi Chunfeng was truly interested in the underwater cave. The Celestial Star Merchant Alliance is the strongest. Apart from a level 4 Profound Beast Sect Elder overseeing it, there are also 3 Profound Beast Sect Expert. The Solitary Cloud Merchant Alliance also has 4 Profound Beast Sect Expert. The surviving Grand Elder is a level 3 Profound Beast Sect Elder. As for our Ancient Ink Merchant Alliance, our overall strength is the weakest. Apart from a level 2 Profound Beast Sect Elder, only Mo Fenggu, who murdered my parents, has broken through to level 1 Profound Beast Sect Elder. Mo Yuyen explained the strength of the 3 merchant alliances in detail to Yi Chunfeng. Leave the matter of the 2 merchant alliances' keys to me. Let us return now. Yi Chunfeng nodded and said. Chapter 191. Qingfeng, you're back. And you broke through? Yu Nikhang, who had swallowed a body-tempering spirit object and was trying her best to break through to the minor success viscera refinement realm, was in a state of cultivation and didn't know what was happening outside. However, when she discovered that Yi Chunfeng had broken through to the level 3 Heavenly Beast Immortal Realm and the aura emitted from his body had become several times stronger, she revealed a look of deep astonishment. The people who were chasing us just now appeared. Mo Yuyen used a magic crystal bone to hire me to eliminate them, and I used that magic crystal bone to break through. Yi Chunfeng didn't want to reveal the existence of the God-Eater brain and vaguely explained. Magic crystal bone, what is that? Something that could allow Yi Chunfeng to break through to the level 1 Heavenly Beast Immortal Realm in just a few hours was definitely not ordinary. Yu Nikhang slightly raised her eyebrows and asked with some curiosity. That is a crystal that contains a powerful demonic qi. Yi Chunfeng simply explained and told Yu Nikhang the origin of the magic crystal bone. That magic crystal bone came from the undersea cave. Yu Nichang's beautiful big eyes shot out rays of light as she was filled with interest towards the undersea cave. That underwater immortals cave should be a land of opportunity. But according to Mo Yuyen, the 3 great merchant alliances have been unable to break through the outer barrier and enter the Immortals Cave for more than 1,000 years. I think the Immortals Cave should be very terrifying. Therefore, the most important thing right now is to increase our strength as soon as possible. Without strength, even if the opportunity is in front of us, we won't be able to obtain it. Nikhang, do you want to take the risk to break through to the profound beast ancestor realm? Yi Chunfeng looked at Yu Nichang's charming face and asked. Do you have a way to help me break through to the profound beast ancestor realm? Yu Nikhang had been stuck in the level 6 heavenly beast immortal realm for many years. She knew the difficulty of breaking through to the Xian beast ancestor realm. When she heard Yi Chunfeng's question, her eyes couldn't help but light up as she asked with anticipation. Yes, we have enough Earth-rank soul cores on us now. If we merge all of these Earth-rank soul cores into your body, you should be able to break through to the profound beast ancestor realm with the power of the Earth-rank soul cores. However, with so many Earth-level soul cores exploding in your body at the same time, the energy generated is enough to destroy your body. Therefore, you can only use this method after you have cultivated your viscera refining stage to the initial success stage and increase the vitality of your 5 viscera and 6 bowels and the endurance of your body. Otherwise, your body will explode from the energy of the Earth-level soul cores and die. Yi Chunfeng told Yu Nikhang his idea in detail. Alright, wait until I reach the small success stage of the viscera refining stage, then I'll take a gamble. Although Yu Nikhang knew that this method was very dangerous and could lose her life if she wasn't careful, this was indeed a good way to break through to the Xian Beast Ancestor realm. In order to break through to the Xian Beast Ancestor realm and pursue the boundless Tao, she decided to take a gamble. Qingfeng, I'm going to continue cultivating. Yu Nikhang took a deep breath and took out another body-tempering spiritual item. She used the soul mantra to refine it and continue to temper her 5 viscera and 6 bowels and recover from her injuries. While Yu Nikhang was cultivating, Yi Chunfeng took out the Qiankuan pouches he obtained from killing General Bai and the others. With the help of the God-Eater brain, he broke the restriction within the Qiankuan pouches and released his soul power into them. 1 high-grade earth weapon, 3 mid-grade earth weapons, 21 low-grade earth weapons, 67 top-grade spirit weapons, 5 earth-rank soul cores, 31 spirit-rank soul cores, 32 mid-grade soul crystals, and 680,000 low-grade soul crystals. After checking the Qiankuan pouches of General Bai and the others, Yi Chunfeng smiled with satisfaction. Time passed day by day. Because of the large amount of soul cores he had taken earlier, Yi Chunfeng's body was filled with a large amount of pill toxins. While Yu Nikhang was tempering her 5 viscera and 6 bowels, Yi Chunfeng used the power of the Chaos Divine Wood to constantly refine these pill toxins. If these pill toxins weren't removed, it would greatly affect his cultivation speed. On the 4th day of Yu Nichang's cultivation, a powerful physical strength was released from Yu Nichang's hot body. After refining an earth-rank soul core and several body-tempering spiritual herbs, Yu Nikhang finally reached the small success stage of the viscera refining stage. Her injuries were completely healed, and her physical strength reached 20,000 jin. Phew, I finally succeeded. I've recovered to my peak strength. Yu Nikhang let out a long sigh of relief, and woke up from her cultivation. She felt that the strength of her body had skyrocketed, and a satisfied smile appeared on her enchanting face. Nikhang, take a rest, and then I'll help you to break through to the Xian Beast Great Master Realm. Yi Chunfeng looked at Yu Nichang's smiling face and said softly, I don't need to rest. I feel that my body's condition is better than ever. I can directly break through to the Xian Beast Great Master Realm. Yu Nikhang shook her head and said in a firm tone, Good, then you sit with your back facing me. I'll pierce your skin in a moment, and insert 4 earth-rank soul cores into your acupoints to help you make the final breakthrough. Considering Yu Nichang's physical endurance, Yi Chunfeng decided to insert 4 earth-rank soul cores into her 4 major acupoints. Through the stimulation of the acupoints, it would stimulate the body's absorption potential. Good. Yu Nikhang nodded. Without the slightest hesitation, she quickly turned around and adjusted her condition. Nikhang, using this method to break through to the Xian Beast Great Master Realm may be a little painful, but you must endure it. Otherwise, you'll fall short of success. Yi Chunfeng took a deep breath and solemnly exhorted. Don't worry, Xingchen, I can endure it. Yu Nikhang nodded and said firmly. Then let's begin. With that said, 4 sharp rays of light flew out from Yi Chunfeng's fingers and pierced Yu Nichang's skin, leaving 4 bloody holes on her back. In the next moment, Yi Chunfeng shot the 4 earth-rank soul cores that he had prepared beforehand into Yu Nichang's body and fused them into her acupoints. Suddenly, a large amount of soul power erupted in Yu Nichang's acupoints. The boundless soul power was like countless silver needles, and an enormous pain instantly spread throughout her body. It was so painful that her body twitched, and blood flowed out incessantly. Refine. The 4 major acupoints emitted an intense piercing pain, and Yu Nikhang, whose physical potential was being stimulated bit by bit, gritted her teeth and bitterly endured it. She quickly refined the boundless soul power that was surging into her body, and broke through to the Xian Beast Great Master realm. The value of an Earth-rank soul core was comparable to an Earth item, and the soul power contained in each Earth-rank soul core was even more astonishing. If an ordinary person took 2 Earth-rank soul cores at the same time, they wouldn't be able to endure it, let alone fusing 4 Earth-rank soul cores into their body at the same time. Slowly, under the impact of the boundless soul power released by the 4 Earth-rank soul cores, Yu Nichang's injuries became more and more severe. Gradually, she couldn't endure the soul power released by the 4 Earth-rank soul cores at the same time, and clear cracks appeared on the surface of her skin. Chapter 192. Sigh, I overestimated Nichang's physical endurance. Seeing that Yu Nikhang was about to explode from the soul power released by the 4 Earth-rank soul pills, Yi Chenfeng immediately took out some heavenly fate water and injected it into her body. The value of heavenly fate water was comparable to the spring of life, and its regenerative abilities were unimaginable. After fusing with the heavenly fate water, Yu Nichang's cracked body quickly healed. Her damaged passageways and internal organs were also quickly recovering. Although her life was no longer in danger, she suffered even more intense pain. The soul power released by the 4 Earth-rank soul pills seeped into every corner of her body, and large amounts of black blood seeped out of her pores, cleansing her passageways. It seems like Nikhang is on the verge of breaking through. She can break through at any time. The most important step for a heavenly beast immortal to break through to the Xian Beast ancestor was to cleanse the passageways and expel the impurities in the body. This would make the soul power in the body purer, and greatly increase the physical strength. Nikhang has cultivated the flesh refinement realm to the greater success realm, and the blood in her body is like smoke. She should be able to withstand the loss of blood. Seeing that Yu Nichang's body was bleeding more and more, Yi Chenfeng couldn't help but sweat for her. If Yu Nikhang couldn't hold on, all her efforts would be for naught, and she would most likely lose her life. Time passed by, and Yu Nikhang, who was on the verge of breaking down, gritted her teeth and held on bitterly. Although every minute and second was torture for her, Yu Nikhang could clearly feel that her soul power was rapidly increasing. Xian Beast Ancestor Breakthrough. After more than 2 hours, the energy from the 4 Earth-rank soul pills had completely fused into her body. Borrowing the boundless soul power in her body, Yu Nikhang tried her best to break through the bottleneck. After 4 consecutive attempts, the grinding moon raiment, which had gone through so much pain and suffering, finally broke through the bottleneck and broke through to the mystic beast ancestor realm. Streaks of pale yellow light shone from her body, and her soul power increased by more than 5 times when she broke through. Her physical strength was also greatly increased. Huff, huff, I've finally broken through. Yu Risang gasped for air. She could feel her soul force surging through her body. A faint smile appeared on her pale face. Nikhang, have a good rest and take a shower. I'll wait for you outside. Yu Nikhang successfully broke through her realm. Yi Chenfeng's hanging heart also settled down. He softly exhorted her and turned to leave. Yes, it's windy. When Yi Chenfeng came to the deck, he saw that the blue sky was covered with dark clouds. Gusts of wind swept down from the dark clouds, blowing against the surface of the sea and setting off huge waves. Look at the sky. A storm is coming. At this time, Mo Yuan walked over to Yi Chenfeng's side. She was wearing a sky-blue silk dress, and her long black hair was coiled on top of her head. Her graceful body exuded an enchanting aura. Miss Mo, how far are we from 3 Stars Island now? Yi Chenfeng asked softly as he looked at Mo Yuan. Her long black hair was fluttering in the sea breeze. Chenfeng, we can be considered familiar with each other now. In the future, you can call me Yuyen. Calling me Miss Mo is too distant. Mo Yuyen blinked her big eyes as she looked at Yi Chunfeng's delicate face and revealed a gentle smile. Okay. Yi Chunfeng was also a carefree person. Furthermore, he needed the ancient ink merchant alliance right now. He didn't want to strain their relationship, so he nodded and agreed. Seeing Yi Chunfeng agree, Mo Yuyen's smile became even wider. She said, "If everything goes smoothly, we can reach 3 Stars Island in a week." "Alright, Yuyen, I have some things that I want to sell. I wonder if your ancient ink merchant alliance will accept them?" As a precaution, Yi Chunfeng wanted to exchange for some mid-grade soul crystals in case of an emergency. "Of course. What do you want to sell?" Mo Yuyen asked with a faint smile. Yi Chunfeng handed a heavy spatial pouch to Mo Yuyen and asked, "Take a look and see how many mid-grade soul crystals these things can be exchanged for. This is your spoils of war from killing the Black Demon assassins, right?" Mo Yuyen released her soul power to scan the spatial pouch. She found that it was full of spirit and earth-grade items and asked in surprise. "Yes, there are 3 mid-grade earth-grade items, 21 low-grade earth-grade items, and 67 top-grade spirit items." Yi Chunfeng nodded and said, "He left the high-grade earth-grade blood demon spear behind. Chingfeng, I don't have many mid-grade soul crystals left. I can only give you 110,000 for now. However, when I regain control of the ancient ink merchant alliance, I will definitely compensate you with another 40,000. Mo Yuyen grew up in the ancient ink merchant alliance, so she was very clear about the value of spirit and earth-grade items. However, in order to curry favor with Yi Chunfeng and get closer to him, she intentionally raised the price. Okay, deal. He had obtained 110,000 mid-grade soul crystals from Mo Yuyen. In addition to his gains from killing the White Demon General and the others, Yi Chunfeng now had a total of 160,000 mid-grade soul crystals. This was enough to sustain the Sword Spirit Puppet's attack for a long time. "By the way, Yuyen, where is the Xingluo continent that you wanted to go to?" Yi Chunfeng asked. "Why, Chingfeng? Do you want to go to the Xingluo continent?" Mo Yuyen asked softly with a complicated look in her eyes. "Yes, I do want to go there." Yi Chunfeng nodded. The Xingluo continent was the easternmost continent of the North Sea. It was said that it was vast and rich in resources. Moreover, its martial arts culture was very prosperous and its martial arts heritage was very powerful. However, to reach the Xingluo continent, in addition to a long journey, you will also need to cross the Chaotic Sea. The Chaotic Sea can be said to be the most dangerous place in the North Sea. Not only are there many Yao beasts there, but there is also a city of carnage. Legend has it that the people there are extremely vicious and evil people. It is very dangerous. Mo Yuyen told Yi Chunfeng everything she knew. The Chaotic Sea, the city of carnage. Yi Chunfeng did not expect that the North Sea would have such a special place. He became interested in it. "Chunfeng, although you are very strong, I advise you not to go to the Chaotic Ocean, and even more so, don't enter Slaughter City. Because even if you are a peerless genius of the Star Luo continent, it is very difficult to come out after entering." Mo Yuyen saw the change in Yi Chunfeng's expression and guessed that he was interested in the Chaotic Sea. She kindly reminded him. "Yes, but if there is a chance, I will still go there." Yi Chunfeng was wholeheartedly pursuing the boundless Tao. He would not be hindered by obstacles. "By the way, Chingfeng, are you and Miss Yu really husband and wife?" Standing together with Yi Chunfeng, Mo Yuyen suddenly felt very calm. She bit her lips and asked, "What? You don't think we look alike?" Yi Chunfeng revealed a faint smile as he looked at Mo Yuyen's delicate face. "Indeed, you don't look alike. Moreover, I feel that Miss Yu is still a virgin." Mo Yuyen nodded. "Chingfeng, what are you two talking about?" Just when Yi Chunfeng did not know how to answer, Yu Nikhang, who had taken a bath and changed her clothes, washed off the filth on her body, and changed into a bright red dress. Exuding a unique charm, she slowly walked over. We are talking about the North Sea. Yi Chunfeng said softly. Miss Yu, you broke through? Feeling that Yu Nichang's aura had undergone an earth-shattering change, Mo Yuyan was slightly surprised as she asked. Yes, with Chengfeng's help, I just broke through to the first-grade mystic beast ancestor realm. Yu Nichang nodded and pretended to be sweet as she said. Alright, it's going to rain soon. Let's go back. Yu Nichang intimately held Yi Chunfeng's arm, as if she was a newly married wife, as she gently said. After speaking, Yu Nichang did not wait for Yi Chunfeng to speak and forcefully pulled him away. You two really are not husband and wife. Chapter 193. Three Stars Island was an island that spanned hundreds of thousands of miles in the North Sea. Looking from afar, the entire Three Stars Island was like a huge continent, vast and boundless. Because of the special geographical environment of Three Stars Island, the island was rich in resources and spirit chi. Many clans and forces were born here, and they also had their own martial arts inheritance. The three strongest forces on Three Stars Island were the Celestial Star Merchant Alliance, the Solitary Cloud Merchant Alliance, and the Ancient Ink Merchant Alliance. They controlled most of Three Stars Island and were the absolute overlords. At this moment, the Ancient Ink Merchant Alliance's lavishly decorated banquet hall was singing and dancing. 10 tall and beautiful dancers in long white dresses were slowly moving their bodies to the melodious music, adding to the fun and adding to the music. Mo Fenggu, who controlled the Ancient Ink Merchant Alliance with bloody means, sat in the main seat of the hall with a smile on his face. He was inviting 4 middle-aged men in black robes with strong auras. These 4 black-robed men were 4 of the 8 Black Demon Generals, the Green Demon General, the Azure Demon General, the Blue Demon General, and the Purple Demon General. At this moment, a middle-aged man in a gray robe suddenly appeared in the banquet hall. He went around to Mo Fenggu's side and whispered a few words in his ear. Second brother, what's the matter? Mo Fengchao's eyes were slightly drunk. He glanced at the gray-robed man and frowned slightly. Haha, of course it's a good thing. After hearing the gray-robed man's report, Mo Fenggu's flat eyes shone brightly. He said with a hint of joy on his face, according to the information from the spies, that little bitch Mo Yuyan's ship appeared in the coastal waters and is speeding towards the port. I think their ship should be controlled by the white demons. Really, that's great. We finally caught that little bitch. Mo Fengchao's eyes lit up as he laughed. He didn't even think that Mo Yuyan came back this time to seek revenge. This time, we were able to successfully capture Mo Yuyan and the others, thanks to your help. Come, let me propose a toast to the 4 of you. Mo Fenggu, who was in a very good mood, raised his cup and drank the wine in it in high spirits. Clan leader Mo, you're too polite. We've received your commission, so we naturally have to do things for you. The tall and sturdy Blue Demon General, who wore a blue robe and had a full beard, said in a deep voice. Just when Mo Fenggu and the others mistakenly thought that Mo Yuyan had been captured by the White Demon and brought back, Mo Yuyan's ship quickly arrived at the edge of the Three Stars Island's harbor. Qingfeng, 3-Star Island is up ahead. Facing the sea breeze, Mo Yuyan stood on the deck, her jet-black hair fluttering in the wind. Her face was slightly pale as she pointed at the vast island in front of her. Don't worry. When we reach 3-Star Island, you don't have to do anything. Just leave everything to us. Yi Chunfeng saw that Mo Yuyan's expression was not very good and knew what she was worried about. Chunfeng, thank you. I'll leave everything to you, said Mo Yuyan gratefully. Don't worry, we will definitely help you take back what belongs to you. Yi Chunfeng nodded and promised. Miss, there are 2 ships from our Ancient Ink Merchant Alliance approaching us. What should we do? At this time, an Ancient Ink Merchant Alliance disciple on the watchtower suddenly shouted. Ignore them. We'll just charge over. Yi Chunfeng's sharp eyes pierced through the layers of clouds as he looked at the 2 ships that were getting closer and closer. Hearing Yi Chunfeng's order, the ships of the ancient Ink Merchant Alliance increased the horsepower, creating huge waves that directly broke through the two ships and headed for the Three Stars Islands harbor. What? Mo Yuyen wasn't captured? Their ship is already near the harbor? When Mo Fenggu, who was waiting for news after eating and drinking to his heart's content, heard that Mo Yuyen wasn't captured by the White Demon General, he was startled and suddenly stood up from his chair. Could it be that a third party intervened? Mo Fenggu muttered to himself. Since Mo Yuyen dared to suddenly come back, she must have something to rely on. Otherwise, she wouldn't have put herself in danger. Thinking of this, Mo Fenggu felt deeply uneasy. Mo family head, don't worry. I'll use my communication pearl to contact the White Demon General. The truth will be revealed soon. Although Mo Yuyen's sudden return was a bit strange, the four Black Demon Generals didn't believe that something had happened to the White Demon General. The one with long purple hair and a clear scar on his face, the Purple Demon General asked. Although his eyes were small, they flickered with a sharp light. Time slowly passed. After about an incense stick's worth of time, the Purple Demon General still couldn't contact the White Demon General. His face darkened as he said in a low voice, "Everyone, let's go to the harbor. I want to see what Mo Yuyen is relying on." Okay. Although Mo Fenggu and his brother were even more uneasy about the White Demon General, they knew that they had no way out. They immediately gathered their experts and followed the four Black Demon Generals to the harbor. When they arrived at the harbor, Mo Yuyen's ship had just docked there. "Qingfeng, these two are the traitors who murdered my father and took over my ancient Ink Merchant Alliance." Mo Yuyen, who was standing on the deck, looked at Mo Fenggu and Mo Fengchao who were rushing over. Her delicate body couldn't help but tremble as she said hatefully, "Yuyen, who are those four people?" Yi Chenfeng's sharp gaze swept past Mo Fengchao and Mo Fenggu, locking onto the four Black Demon Generals who were filled with killing intent. He asked in a low voice. They seemed to be the four Black Demon Generals. Mo Yuyen recognized the four Black Demon Generals from their clothes. The Black Demon Generals actually sent four Black Demon Generals to oversee your Mo family. It seems that the cooperation between your Mo family and the Black Demons is not simple. After knowing the identities of the four, Yi Chenfeng frowned. If the Mo family was really colluding with the Black Demons, then he would very likely suffer the revenge of the Black Demons for eradicating Mo Fenggu and Mo Fengchao. It seems that helping Mo Yuyen take over the ancient Ink Merchant Alliance wasn't as simple as I thought. Yi Chenfeng muttered to himself. Mo Yuyen, you little slut, you actually dare to come back. Mo Fenggu was like a venomous snake as he stared at Mo Yuyen. His eyes emitted a dense cold light. I came back to take revenge for my dead parents and take back everything that should have belonged to me. Mo Yuyen's cold face revealed deep hatred as she replied with killing intent. The four of you, can you feel that there's an expert overseeing the ship? Hearing Mo Yuyen's confident voice, Mo Fenggu asked with a guilty conscience. Don't worry, Mo family head. There's only one profound beast sect expert on the ship. It's completely under our control. The powerful Purple Demon General whispered. So it was just a bluff. After knowing that there was no expert on Mo Yuyen's ship, Mo Fenggu and Mo Fenggu let out a sigh of relief and revealed a cruel smile. The four of you, I'll leave everything to you. As long as the four of you help us capture Mo Yuyen, I promise to give the four of you an extra 50% of the reward. In order to capture Mo Yuyen and obtain the key to the underwater cave, Mo Fenggu promised in front of everyone. And leave it to us. The four demon generals nodded. Four ferocious spirit beasts appeared on their bodies, intertwining with a yellow light that made it hard for people to open their eyes. Roar. Just as the four demon generals summoned their spirit beasts and released their auras, a high-pitched dragon roar came from Yi Chenfeng's body. A blood dragon that was hundreds of meters long, covered in red dragon scales, with sharp claws and coral-like dragon horns on its head, appeared on Yi Chunfeng's body and circled above his head. Feeling the dragon's might from the blood dragon, the four spirit beasts' auras were immediately suppressed. Many of the weaker disciples of the ancient Ink Merchant Alliance were scared out of their wits. Many of them were so scared that they fell to the ground, twitching all over. Dragon! That person's spirit beast is actually a dragon. Seeing the blood dragon circling above Yi Chunfeng's head, everyone, including the four demon generals, was shocked. Feeling the dragon's might at close range, Mo Yuyen's heart trembled, and her eyes burned with passion. Nick Heng, let's go. Chapter 194. Instant Kill Sword. Yi Chunfeng's sliding body in mid-air suddenly accelerated, and his perfect sword force gushed out of his body, turning into an extremely thin sword shadow in an instant. With incredible speed, it stabbed towards the strongest of the four demon generals, the Green Demon General. Green Ghost Claw. Feeling the terrifying power of Yi Chunfeng's sword, the Green Demon General's pupils shrank, and his right hand, which was wearing a high-grade Earth-tier emerald green glove, suddenly exerted strength. Billowing soul power condensed into a ghost claw wrapped in emerald green soul threads, grabbing towards Yi Chunfeng's instant kill sword. Although the green ghost claw used by the Green Demon General was a mid-grade Earth-tier soul skill, its destructive power was extremely terrifying after being amplified by a high-grade Earth-tier soul tool, and his realm was far above Yi Chunfeng's. However, Yi Chunfeng relied on his physical strength of more than 150,000 kilograms, the gigantic fault heavenly sword, perfect sword force, and the soul power amplification of his spiritual beast, Blood Dragon, to make up for the difference in realm. Coupled with the fact that the sword art of extermination was a top-grade Earth-tier soul skill, Yi Chunfeng's attack power completely surpassed the Green Demon General's. Chi! A sharp sword light flashed past, and the green ghost claw used by the Green Demon General was pierced by Yi Chunfeng's sword. The incomparably sharp sword light pierced the Green Demon General's right hand like a hot knife through butter, piercing a bloody hole in his right hand, and a large amount of blood flowed out uncontrollably. What? How is this possible? Mo Fenggu looked at Yi Chunfeng in disbelief, not daring to imagine what he saw. Although the moment Yi Chunfeng condensed his spiritual beast Blood Dragon, Mo Fenggu and the others were deeply shocked, but there was an insurmountable gap between Yi Chunfeng and the Green Demon General. They couldn't imagine why Yi Chunfeng's attack power was so terrifying. Heaven item, you have a heaven item in your hand. Feeling the attack power of the gigantic fault heavenly sword, the Green Demon General's expression changed drastically, and his body flashed, wanting to dodge. Profound Frost Spirit Water, Ice Seal. The moment the Green Demon General dodged, a bone-chilling cold air was emitted from his body, freezing the air and bombarding the Green Demon General's body, forcibly freezing his body. Cloud Palm. More than 150,000 kilograms of strength in Yi Chunfeng's body instantly erupted, surging into his right palm, and blasted 8 overlapping, powerful cloud-piercing palms. Boom! Endless air waves instantly swept out, and the Green Demon General's frozen body, the Green Demon General's body, the Green Demon General's soul armor broke Green Demon General's, the Demon General's soul, the Demon General's soul armor, soul armor condensed soul armor, soul. Demon General. Phantom Shift. Facing the combined attack of the Azure Demon General and the other two, a light flashed beneath Yi Chunfeng's feet, and he summoned 9 afterimages in an instant. His speed was amplified by 9 times, and he was like a bolt of lightning. In an extremely short period of time, he dodged the 3 soul skills and appeared behind the Green Demon General, who had turned pale with fright. Soul Ignition. At this critical moment, the heavily injured Green Demon General ignited his own soul power, condensing it into a pale yellow skull. It released a bone-chilling screech, attacking Yi Chunfeng. Perfect Sword Form, Wind Shadow Slash. The Green Devil General's skull that was condensed from burning soul power attacked. Yi Qinfeng's perfect sword force erupted once again, fusing with the gigantic fault heavenly sword along with the 150,000 gene of force, maximizing the offensive power of the gigantic fault heavenly sword. The heavy sword slashed through the air. A long sword ray extended for more than 10 meters and formed an arc. It looked like a crescent moon descending to the mortal world. It shattered the yellow skeleton and mercilessly slashed the Green Devil General's body. It broke through his defense and cut off half of his body. Ah! With half of his body chopped off, the Green Demon General painfully fell into a pool of blood. His miserable howl reverberated between heaven and earth, lingering for a long time. "You're courting death." Looking at the dying Green Demon General lying in a pool of blood, Azure Demon General and the other two were enraged. They all used their trump cards and launched thunderous attacks at Yi Qinfeng. "Your opponent is me." At this moment, Yu Nikhang, who was wearing a fiery red dress and had 3 foxtails behind her, attacked with the Aquamoon Everlasting Sword. The sharp sword ray intertwined with endless sword shadows and forcefully blocked Azure Demon General and the other two. Although Yu Nikhang had just broken through to the Mystic Beast Ancestor realm, she cultivated the 6 Meridian God Shield, and her physical strength was far superior to Azure Demon General and the others. In addition, her spiritual beast, the 3-tailed Snow Fox, was very strong. She wasn't at a disadvantage in the fierce battle with Azure Demon General and the other two. While using Yu Nikhang to block Azure Demon General and the other two, Yi Qinfeng's body surged with endless bloodlight, enveloping him and the dying Green Demon General. Soul-devouring tactic, devour. In order to quickly increase his strength and deal with any possible danger, Yi Qinfeng took a risk and used the soul-devouring tactic to devour the Green Demon General's spiritual beast. Amidst the Green Demon General's painful and fearful roar, the spiritual beast in his head turned into a majestic soul power and crazily flowed into Yi Qinfeng's body. After devouring the Green Demon General's spiritual beast, Yi Qinfeng's soul power skyrocketed. He crushed the Green Demon General's head with 1 foot and appeared beside Yu Nikhang with the Titanic Fault Heavenly Sword in his hand to help her deal with Azure Demon General and the other two. As Yi Qinfeng's physical strength completely erupted, he slashed out with the Titanic Fault Heavenly Sword again and again. The sword ray, which was filled with 150,000 kilograms of strength and perfect sword force, was like a surging tide. The continuous attacks crushed Purple Demon General's attacks and forced him to retreat continuously. The blood in his body churned violently. Strong, too strong. I've never seen a genius who can kill an enemy 4 ranks higher than him. If Yi Qinfeng doesn't die, he will definitely become a peerless king or even an emperor. Standing on the deck and watching Yi Qinfeng quickly kill the Green Demon General and force Purple Demon General back, Elder May was deeply shocked and couldn't help but sigh. "Elder May, do you think we have a chance to keep Yi Qinfeng in the Ancient Ink Merchant Alliance?" Yi Qinfeng's tyrannical strength had completely conquered Mo Yuyan's heart. Her heart trembled and filled with admiration. "Young miss, do you think a genius like him will be willing to stay in our Ancient Ink Merchant Alliance? With the talent and strength he has displayed, even in the Xingluo continent, he would be at the top." Elder May looked at Mo Yuyan's exquisite face and guessed her thoughts. She sighed softly and said, "Is there really no chance?" Mo Yuyan bit her lips lightly and muttered to herself unwillingly, "Instant kill sword." After completely suppressing Purple Demon General in terms of offense, Yi Qinfeng's body moved. Another sword ray that surpassed the speed of light tore through the sky, tearing apart the ground as it pierced towards Purple Demon General's chest. The might of Yi Qinfeng's sword had reached the pinnacle. Wherever the sword qi passed, a deep sword light would appear on the hard ground. Qi. Yi Qinfeng's sword landed on the saber that Purple Demon General had hurriedly blocked. The sharp attack directly pierced through the saber, and stabbed into Purple Demon General's shoulder, directly tearing it apart along with his entire right arm. A single sword strike had heavily injured him. Chapter 195. What are you all standing there for? Hurry up and capture Emoyen. Facing Moon Rayment's full-powered attack head-on, the Blue Demon, whose chi and blood were roiling in his body, held back the blood that almost spurted out of his mouth. Who dares? Miss is the leader of the Ancient Ink Merchant Alliance. If you dare to harm her, I will take your lives. Elder Hong stood beside Emoyen, his gaze sharp as he stared at the restless experts of the Ancient Ink Merchant Alliance as he reprimanded loudly. Hong Yun, you dare to betray me? Emo Feng Gu, whose eyes flashed with a murderous light, gritted his teeth. Emo Feng Gu, if you didn't force the restriction on my soul, I wouldn't have betrayed Mississippi. Now that you have lost, you should obediently admit to your crimes. Elder Hong ignored Emo Feng Gu and Blue Devil's sinister eyes and said without backing down, Hong Yun, I will kill you first. Emo Feng Gu, who was a Class 1 Mystic Beast ancestor, couldn't hold back the murderous intent in his heart. With a roar, he merged with his spiritual beast and was about to rush to the ship to kill Elder Hong and the others and capture Emoyen to threaten Yi Chenfeng. Soul Crystal Cannons, attack! Elder Mei, who was already prepared, ordered the 16 Soul Crystal Cannons to attack at the same time. 16 Soul Crystal Cannons were like flood dragons, fluctuating the air and bombarding Emo Feng Gu, whose expression changed greatly. Boom! 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 Under the attack of the 16 Soul Crystal Cannons, Emo Feng Gu's soul skill was forcibly shattered. He was also bombarded by the Soul Crystal Cannons from mid-air and smashed into the ground, creating a large crater. A large amount of blood spurted out of his mouth. Emo Feng Gu, who was covered in blood, crawled out of the crater and ordered loudly, "The Ancient Ink Merchant Alliance's ship, listen to my order. Attack with all your might. Whoever destroys their ship will be rewarded with 1,000,000 low-grade soul crystals. Emo Feng Gu, Emo Feng Chao and the others have lost. When young Master Yi and the others kill the Black Demon Generals, it will be their doomsday. Do you want to die with them?" Elder Mei's voice was extremely penetrating. She warned with an imposing aura, which deterred the restless experts of the Ancient Ink Merchant Alliance. Many pairs of eyes looked at Yi Chenfeng and the others in awe. They knew that Yi Chenfeng and the others were the ones who would decide their fates, so they did not act rashly. Phantom Shift. Yi Chenfeng, who had expended a lot of energy, tossed an Earth-rank spirit core into his mouth and raised his speed to the peak. With absolute speed, he launched lightning-quick attacks at the severely injured Azure Demon General who had lost his right arm. Pring pring ping. Every time they clashed, glaring sparks would burst forth. Yi Chenfeng, who was using the shifting phantom technique and wielding the titanic fault heavenly sword, completely suppressed the Violet Demon General with his attack. As the two of them exchanged blows, the rocks and the ground all exploded. Countless pieces of rubble were sent flying. The loud sound of the exchange of blows caused ripples to appear in the air. General Azure Demon, save me! Seeing that the Purple Demon General was about to lose his courage, the Azure Demon General shouted for help at the Blue Demon General who was attacking Yu Nikang. No one can save you. Go to hell obediently. Wind Shadow Slash. Yi Chenfeng soared into the sky. Endless crescent moon sword light poured down wantonly, as if the Milky Way was descending. With a terrifying fluctuation, the sword slashed towards the heavily injured Purple Demon General who was vomiting blood. Boom! The Wind Shadow Slash landed on the blade of General Zmo who was burning his soul force to resist with all his strength. Suddenly, the powerful collision set off a terrifying wave of wind that engulfed General Zmo in an instant. The huge fluctuation of power caused the surrounding air to rapidly roll outward. Crack! Facing Yi Chenfeng's Wind Shadow Slash with a force of 300,000 Jin, General Zmo, who was already an arrow at the end of its flight, had all his bones shattered. He directly fell to the ground as a large amount of blood flowed out from his body. He couldn't be more dead. General Zmo is also dead. Mo Feng Gu and Mo Feng Chao were trembling with fear. When they saw the Green Demon General and the Purple Demon General being killed by Yi Chunfeng, their hearts fell to the bottom. They only felt a chill penetrating their backs, causing them to involuntarily tremble. "Be second brother, that person is too powerful. What should we do?" Mo Feng Chao, who was pale with fright, asked in a stuttering voice as he looked at Yi Chunfeng, who was attacking like a tide. "Return to the ancient Ink Merchant Alliance and use the ancient formation to deal with them." At this moment, Mo Feng Gu didn't expect the Blue Demon General and Mo Feng Chao to be able to turn the tide. He brought the frightened Mo Feng Chao with him and quickly left this troublesome place, escaping to the ancient Ink Merchant Alliance. Seeing Mo Feng Gu and Mo Feng Chao escape, Yi Chunfeng, who was using all his strength to kill General Qing Demon General, had no time to chase. His body flashed slightly, turning into an extremely fast afterimage, attacking the burly Blue Demon General. Cloud-breaking palm. When he was close to the Blue Demon General, Yi Chunfeng's entire body's strength exploded. The terrifying cloud-breaking palm radiance tore through the air with unimaginable power, striking towards the Blue Demon General's chest. Demonic Cave Fist. The Blue Demon General roared. All his muscles swelled instantly. Veins twisted on the surface of his skin like earthworms. At this moment, he raised his physical strength to the limit. He sent out a heavy punch, meeting the incoming cloud-breaking palm head-on. Boom! The fist and palm collided. Boundless energy exploded magnificently, like a mountain flood, sweeping through the surroundings. How is this possible? How can he be so strong? The Blue Demon General, who was born with divine strength, was very confident in his physical strength. However, when he faced Yi Chunfeng's cloud-breaking palm head-on, he discovered that Yi Chunfeng's physical strength was actually several times greater than his. This made him look like he had seen a ghost. His blood roiled as he retreated continuously. Instant kill sword. Seizing the opportunity when the Blue Demon General lost control, the complete sword force gathered in the gigantic fault heavenly sword. The sword of over 150,000 kilograms of force rippled through the air. Chi! With the sound of cloth being torn, Yi Chunfeng became one with the sword. His sword carried unparalleled destructive power as it stabbed towards the Blue Demon General's chest. Demonic Wind, 13 Fists. With his life hanging by a thread, the Blue Demon General activated his body's potential. In an instant, he sent out 13 fist lights that were compressed to the limit. He continuously bombarded Yi Chunfeng's instant kill sword, slowing down the attack as much as possible. Complete sword force break. Yi Chunfeng took a deep breath. He endured the terrifying attack of the demonic wind 13 fists and unleashed his complete sword force again. He forcefully destroyed the Blue Demon General's soul skill. Profound cold spirit water, freeze. Just as the Blue Demon General took advantage of Yi Chunfeng's delay and wanted to dodge, a large amount of cold qi radiated from Yi Chunfeng's body, forcefully freezing his legs. In the next moment, an extremely fast sword light flashed before his eyes. It broke through his defenses and slit his throat. A large amount of blood spurted out, dyeing the ground red. Bam! Just as the Blue Demon General covered his bleeding throat and wanted to forcefully break out and escape, Yi Chunfeng used Shifting Phantom and circled behind him. He smacked his head with a palm that was filled with powerful strength, injuring his soul spirit and knocking him unconscious. After knocking the Blue Demon General unconscious, Yi Chunfeng appeared beside the shocked Green Demon General. Together with Yu Nikhang, he launched a tide-like attack at him. To attack the Green Demon General, Yi Chunfeng displayed his mastery of sword force to the extreme. The angle of each sword was extremely tricky, and there was no trace to be found. He constantly damaged the Green Demon General's body. Very soon, the Green Demon General was riddled with wounds and had no strength to resist. Tisk tisk. As two sharp sword lights flashed, Yunichang's two extremely fast swords directly chopped off two of his arms and severely injured his body. Nick Heng, don't kill him. I need to keep him alive. Chapter 196. After the dust settled, the port filled with the strong smell of blood was silent. Pairs of awe-inspiring eyes looked at Yi Chunfeng. Chingfeng, what's the use of keeping them alive? Yu Nikheng asked in confusion. She couldn't understand why Yi Chunfeng insisted on keeping the two alive. I need to get something from them, Yi Chunfeng vaguely explained, not revealing the existence of the soul-devouring art. After that, Yi Chunfeng took away their belongings. Carrying the unconscious Blue Demon General and Azure Demon General, he leaped dozens of meters and landed on the deck. I have something to ask the two of them. Wait for me on the deck, Yi Chunfeng instructed. Ignoring the strange looks from Mo Yuyan and the others, he pulled the unconscious Blue Demon General and Azure Demon General to a quiet cabin. He quickly operated the soul-devouring art and devoured their spiritual beasts. Although Yi Chunfeng still had a lot of pill toxins left in his body, which greatly affected his breakthrough speed, Yi Chunfeng's soul power was almost overflowing after devouring the spiritual beasts of the three mystic beast sect experts. As long as he was willing, he could break through to the fourth level of the heavenly beast immortal realm at any time. However, in order to make his foundation more solid, Yi Chunfeng was not in a hurry to break through. With the help of the Chaos Divine Wood, he suppressed his realm and slowly expanded the soul power in his body. He left the cabin and came to the deck. Chingfeng, are you hiding something from me? Seeing Yi Chunfeng come out in a good mood, Yu Nikheng blinked her beautiful big eyes and stared at his smiling face. She asked strangely. No. Yi Chunfeng smiled embarrassedly. Yi Chunfeng, why you? Could it be that you really like men? You deliberately left them alive. Is it because, in the end, even with Yu Nichang's bold personality, she didn't know how to continue? She looked at Yi Chunfeng with disdain and disdain. Mo Yuyan also couldn't help but feel nervous. If Yi Chunfeng really liked men, then she wouldn't have a chance. Yi Chunfeng. Seeing Yu Nichang's disdainful eyes, Yi Chunfeng almost vomited blood. He didn't expect Yu Nikheng to have such a rich imagination. And I Shang, what are you thinking about all day? Why would I like a guy? Yi Chunfeng was speechless and speechless. Really? Nonsense, of course it's true. I dare to swear to the heavens I have no special fetishes, Yi Chunfeng said angrily. You scared me. If you dare to like men, I'll cripple you. After saying that, Moon Raymond revealed a charming smile and giggled. The matter here is settled. Let's go to the Ancient Ink Merchant Alliance and avenge your parent. Yi Chunfeng rolled his eyes at the laughing Yu Nikheng and ignored her. He walked to Mo Yuyan's side and said softly, Thank you. Mo Yuyan looked at Yi Chunfeng affectionately and nodded. Her gentle gaze made Yi Chunfeng a little uncomfortable, and it also made Yu Nikheng frown. When Yi Chunfeng's group headed to the Ancient Ink Merchant Alliance, the Celestial Star Merchant Alliance and the Solitary Cloud Merchant Alliance were the first to know what had happened at the harbor. In an instant, Yi Chunfeng and the Ancient Ink Merchant Alliance became the absolute focus. Chingfeng, the Ancient Ink Merchant Alliance is right in front. Mo Yuyan pointed at a building not far ahead. It occupied a large area, and there were pavilions and courtyards. Her tone was complicated. What a powerful formation rune. Does your Ancient Ink Merchant Alliance have a powerful ancient formation? Yi Chunfeng's powerful spiritual perception sensed that there was a powerful ancient formation above the Ancient Ink Merchant Alliance. He frowned slightly and asked in a low voice, Ancient formation. Hearing Yi Chunfeng's words, Mo Yuyan's expression changed greatly. She said worriedly, Our Ancient Ink Merchant Alliance's ancient formation has always been in the hands of the Grand Elder. Could it be that they murdered the Grand Elder and took control of the ancient formation? That's possible. Yi Chunfeng nodded and said, Qingfeng, our ancient ink merchant alliance's ancient formation, has been passed down for thousands of years. It's extremely powerful. Even high-level Xian Beast sect experts won't be able to come out alive once they're trapped inside. If you don't have full confidence, you must not go in. Mo Yuyan reminded, if there's no other way, we'll wait outside. I don't believe that they won't come out. And let's go and take a look first. Yi Chunfeng nodded and led the group outside the ancient ink merchant alliance. They saw the ancient formation covered with a large number of formation runes. Thinking back to how Yi Chunfeng had used the formation runes to trap her on the icy spirit peak, Yu Nikhang softly asked, Qingfeng, I remember that you have some attainments in formation runes. Do you have a way to break the ancient formation? I'll try. Yi Chunfeng took a deep breath and slowly closed his eyes. He controlled his powerful spiritual power to enter the ancient formation, borrowing the power of the God-Eater brain to break it. Second brother, do you think that person will be able to break the ancient formation? Mo Fengchao, who had fled back to the ancient ink merchant alliance and activated the ancient formation, asked worriedly. Once the ancient formation was broken, they would have no way out and would be at Mo Yuyan's mercy. Don't worry. Our ancient ink merchant alliance's ancient formation has been passed down for thousands of years. Unless his attainments in formation runes reach an unimaginable level, he won't be able to break the ancient formation, Mo Fengchao said in a low voice. However, his heart was also filled with worry. Yi Chunfeng's heaven-defying strength and means had made him fearful. Time passed. Yi Chunfeng was like a statue, standing motionless in the same place. He constantly controlled the God-Eater brain to deduce the ancient formation, looking for its weak point. After about half an hour, Yi Chunfeng suddenly opened his tightly shut eyes. His deep eyes were filled with the reflections of formation patterns. Complete sword aura, 300,000 gene of strength, explode. After the God-Eater brain had deduced the ancient formation runes several hundred times, Yi Chunfeng found the weak point of the ancient formation. His entire body soared into the sky, and the surging sword aura and power fused into the gigantic fault heavenly sword in his hand. Instant kill sword. Yi Chunfeng's attack power rose to its peak. He suddenly turned around in midair and thrust out a sword strike that was condensed to its peak. It tore through the air and pierced the surface of the ancient formation. Kacha! A crisp shattering sound resounded. After being attacked by Yi Chunfeng's instant kill sword, crisscrossing cracks immediately appeared on the surface of the ancient formation. The fluctuations caused the entire ancient formation to violently tremble. What? The ancient formation cracked. Looking at the spiderweb-like cracks on the surface of the ancient formation, Mo Fenggu and Mo Fengchao were scared out of their wits. Their legs couldn't help but tremble. Too strong. This Yi Chunfeng is truly omnipotent. Not only is his battle prowess amazing, but his attainments in formation runes are also so profound. What kind of power has nurtured such a genius? After personally witnessing Yi Chunfeng shatter the ancient formation with a single sword strike, Elder Mei was once again stunned. As for Mo Yuyan, she was completely subdued by Yi Chunfeng's near-celestial methods. She looked at him with eyes full of adoration. Instant kill sword. After piercing the ancient formation with one sword, Yi Chunfeng, who had fallen to the edge of the ancient formation, once again soared into the sky and thrust out his extremely condensed sword towards the weak point of the ancient formation. A meteor-like sword ray heavily attacked the weak point of the ancient formation. This sword pierced through the ancient formation, destroying the formation runes that condensed it, and forcibly creating a huge gap in the ancient formation. Wind shadow slash break.